Chapter 2500. The white-robed girl's eyes were empty. She had only struck out in a moment of desperation. At this moment, the white-robed girl was like a zombie right now. Looking at the situation, Longao was exasperated as well. There was no way Longao could step into the Chaos Hall against the combined forces of 19 powerful beings. If this were to carry on, he would be dead for sure. Life and death. Boom. 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 The god diviner and the others were way too fast. Furthermore, they were attacking from all directions. Due to his carelessness, Longao was hit consecutively. Spitting out fresh blood, his face turned pale. If it were anyone else, they would have died long ago under such a horrifying attack. Legend of the universe. The other party was just a legend of the universe. If the other party was a ruler of the universe, or even a half-step ruler of the universe, they would still be able to accept it. But the other party was just a mere legend of the universe. How could he survive the combined attacks of 19 of them? If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would have found it hard to believe. But even so, the 19 of them did not choose to give up. And it wasn't just 19 of them. More and more people joined the battle. At a glance, it was as though they were an army of thousands against Longao alone. Fighting against countless people by himself, even if Longao had 3 heads and 6 arms, he believed that he would still die without a doubt. Longao was very clear in his heart. If it was him in the past, he would have definitely died this time. However, the primal chaos seal had turned into a primal chaos 9-colored lotus and reproduced 9 lives. After completely fusing together, he was almost immortal. But even so, he couldn't fall into the hands of these people. Otherwise, things would get really troublesome. What should he do? Longao retreated continuously. If he were alone, he might have had a chance to escape. But the situation was different now. There was still the white-robed girl beside him. If he were to dodge, he would definitely implicate the white-robed girl. Even if the white-robed girl was a ruler of the universe and had mastered the power of chaos, she was clearly not in her right mind right now. At the most helpless moment, the white-robed girl would not attack at all. That was the key. And it was because of that that the surrounding people dared to attack him and the white-robed girl so brazenly. If the white-robed girl was in her right mind, would they still dare to attack her? Even the god diviner would not dare to attack her so casually, let alone ordinary people. The current situation. Longao could not use any of his ultimate skills. He could not even use the Chaos Axe because these were his signature items. Once he used them, his identity would definitely be exposed. It was the passive of the passive. If he relaxed even a little bit, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. Xiao Chen punched with both fists. Every time he attacked, he would bring about a bloody storm. Although he could not use the primal Chaos Axe, Longao used his finger as a sword. If he used the first axe, Hell Devouring, the power was not to be underestimated. All of a sudden, the girl in white snorted coldly. This time, the cold snort didn't matter, but it really scared everyone around. What had just happened was still vivid in his mind. The white-robed girl had casually used a single move to defeat the marvelous mathematician, the #1 powerhouse of the vast starry sky. What did this mean? The white-clothed girl's strength was too terrifying. If she wanted to kill other people, it would be a matter of seconds. Although the white-clothed girl was delirious, no one knew when she would attack. Every time she attacked, it was earth-shattering. It would be a lie to say that no one was afraid. Everyone around scattered. Even the 10 universe rulers and 9 half-step universe rulers did not dare to fight her head-on. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Longao left as quickly as possible. Longao and the white-clothed girl's speed was too fast. In a short while, the two had disappeared without a trace. They left just like that. Looking at the two who had disappeared without a trace, everyone was completely dumbfounded. Everyone was a little confused. Under the siege of so many powerhouses, the two could still leave. It was really unbelievable. If it was someone else, it would be fine. But now, 10 universe rulers, 9 half-step universe rulers, countless universe immortals and peak universe immortals besieged a little universe legend, but this person still escaped safely. Was this true? Until now, no one chose to believe it. In the vast starry sky, who could do this? Even the monstrous genius Longao could not do it. Could it be Longao? Some people guessed that it was Longao, but this was a little ridiculous. Even if Longao had always been heaven-defying, it was impossible for him to be heaven-defying to this extent. It was almost impossible for him to fight against universe rulers and half-step universe rulers. Father, what should we do now? Yi Dugu's face was very gloomy because he never thought that even his father could escape. It was simply inconceivable. The marvelous mathematician thought for a while and said, "No matter what happens, we have to find the traces of this person and the white-clothed girl." If it had been something else, the marvelous mathematician would not have cared so much. Losing it would not have mattered, but the primal chaos force was the only thing he could not give up. The key to obtaining the primal chaos force was the white-clothed girl. Because of this, he had to find her. As for the God Diviner's primal chaos tablet, he had not been able to grasp the primal chaos force within the tablet after so many years. Unless he could deal with the primal chaos rock or enter the primal chaos spring, it was almost impossible to grasp the primal chaos force within the tablet. Yi Dugu nodded, and the father and son immediately left. Of course, the others knew what the father and son meant by leaving. The other 8 universe rulers also did not linger and immediately dispersed. "Father, if we go after them now, won't the marvelous mathematician and the others be dissatisfied?" Bai Hua was very worried. After all, the strength of the 10 universe rulers was there for all to see. If they angered the 10 universe rulers, they would have to bear the consequences. How could Bai Jing not know about Bai Hua's worries? However, the primal chaos force was too important for him. If he could obtain it, he would be able to surpass the universe rulers. At that time, he would be the sole ruler of the vast starry sky. The white-clothed girl's strength was enough to prove everything. Even a casual move from her was not something the marvelous mathematician could resist. Thinking of this, Bai Jing sneered and said, "Find them. No matter what, you have to find the traces of these 2 people." Not only Bai Jing, but the other 8 half-step universe rulers also did not choose to give up. 9 great starry sky empires, countless starry sky empires, plus the 10 universe rulers, the vast starry sky suddenly changed. Chapter 2501. Carrying the white-robed girl, Longao sprinted madly, his speed rising to the limit. Only after confirming that no one was chasing them did Longao let out a long sigh of relief. As for the primal chaos palace, that was where Longao was the most depressed. Before, when Master God Diviner and the others had locked onto him, it had been very difficult for him to find a chance to enter. But then, when Longao had left with the white-robed girl, he had already found a chance to enter the primal chaos palace. But the result had shocked him. He had no problem entering the primal chaos palace. Only the white-robed girl had been unable to enter. What was going on? He couldn't figure it out. He really couldn't figure it out. "What's your name?" The white-robed girl still hadn't woken up. Her eyes were empty, as though she had no consciousness. However, Longao was certain that this white-robed girl definitely had a primal chaos tablet within her body, and that she had already mastered the primal chaos energy within it. In other words, the white-robed girl in front of him was stronger than Master God Diviner and the others. She was the true #1 expert in the universe. But no matter how strong she was, given the white-robed girl's current situation, it was all nonsense. Longao naturally knew that if Master God Diviner had locked onto their position, then the white-robed girl would most likely be in trouble. To be able to control the primal chaos energy within the primal chaos tablet, one could imagine how important the white-robed girl was to Master God Diviner and the others. No matter what happened, they couldn't let Master God Diviner and the others find the white-robed girl. Could it be that Longao didn't have any selfish motives? That was impossible, because Longao had his own selfish motives as well, and that was the attributeless primal chaos tablet he had devoured. Longao was also extremely certain that even if he could completely refine the primal chaos tablet, he would at most become a ruler of the universe. To control the primal chaos energy within the tablet was virtually impossible. If he could borrow the white-robed girl's power to control the primal chaos tablet, that would be a very good thing for him. The white-robed girl didn't answer. Her eyes were still empty, and she stared coldly at Longao. It was quite depressing. Longao didn't know what was going on with this white-clothed girl. Since she had already grasped the power of chaos within the Chaos Stone tablet, under normal circumstances, there should be no one in the vast starry skies that was a match for this white-clothed girl. Not even Master God Diviner could stand up to it, let alone anyone else. This was the strength of the white-clothed girl. That was indeed the case. Longao couldn't figure out who could make the girl in white look like this. Could it be because of the primal Chaos Stone tablets? None of the 12 rulers of the stars, including Master God Diviner, had been able to successfully control the primal chaos power within the Chaos Steelies. Only the white-robed young woman had succeeded. Other than this possibility, Longao couldn't think of any other possibility. Seeing that the girl in white didn't answer, Longao had no other choice but to give up. The vast starry sky was boundless. Ever since the crystal coffin and the white-clothed girl had appeared, the entire universe had been shaken. Moreover, a mysterious person had appeared. He was only a Star Realm legend, but he had been able to disappear right under the noses of Star Realm rulers and half-step Star Realm rulers. It completely shocked the vast starry sky. Besides this, countless people throughout the vast starry sky, including the 10 Star Realm rulers, the 9 great starry sky empires, and countless other empires, were frantically searching for traces of the white-clothed girl and the mysterious expert. However, in the vast sea of people, trying to find them was like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It was almost impossible. Even so, no one was willing to give up. The reason was simple. Everyone knew that the white-clothed girl wasn't just a Star Realm ruler, she had also mastered the primal chaos power within the Chaos Steelies. If they could find her, they might be able to become a Star Realm ruler, or even a supreme existence above the other Star Realm rulers. If the white-clothed girl was at her peak, no one would dare to act rashly. Even the 10 Star Realm rulers and Master God Diviner wouldn't dare to act rashly. But the current situation was completely different. The white-clothed girl wasn't in a clear state of mind and would only occasionally act. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to deal with her. Countless people were searching the vast starry sky for traces of the white-clothed girl and the mysterious expert, conducting a carpet search. Most importantly, 10 Star Realm rulers and 9 half-step Star Realm rulers were involved in this search. It was obvious what this meant. Longao had already guessed that countless people in the vast starry sky would take action. The white-clothed girl's allure was too great. If these people chose to give up so easily, they wouldn't be these people. Longao took the white-clothed girl into a low-level plane. It was a very ordinary low-level plane, and a very secretive one. Even so, Longao knew very well that no matter how secretive the plane was, it would be discovered eventually. If that was the case, it would be very difficult for him to resist the joint attack of so many people. However, Longao already had a countermeasure. Even if he couldn't take the white-clothed girl into the Primal Chaos Hall, as long as he was willing, he could casually find a hidden place in the plane. No one, not even Master God Diviner, would be able to lock onto his position. On this point, Longao was still confident. Moreover, there was also the white-clothed girl. If Master God Diviner could grasp the primal chaos power within the primal chaos tablet, then it would be a different story. He would definitely be able to lock onto their position. But now, the situation was completely different. Longao opened up an extremely hidden underground cave residence in the plane. He guarded the white-clothed girl at all times. He did not leave her side at all because he did not know when the white-clothed girl would leave. With the white-clothed girl's current situation, once she left, he was afraid that it would not bode well for her. Longao looked at the white-clothed girl in front of him. He was also very vigilant because he did not know when the white-clothed girl in front of him would make a move. The white-clothed girl in front of him had defeated the God Diviner with just one move. If this kind of move was used on him, would he be able to withstand it? Without a doubt, although Longao was confident in himself, he couldn't do anything about the white-clothed girl. The white-clothed girl sat quietly on the stone bench, looking at Longao with empty eyes. At this moment, the white-clothed girl suddenly smiled. It was an indifferent smile, which was very strange. What was going on? Longao was a little confused by the white-clothed girl's sudden smile. He didn't know what was going on with the white-clothed girl. But even so, Longao didn't dare to move. He didn't know if the white-clothed girl would act. In the end, Longao was still very afraid of the white-clothed girl. Not to mention Longao, even Master God Diviner was afraid of the white-clothed girl. Because the white-clothed girl's strength was enough to sweep through the universe. Chapter 2502. What's your name? Longao was a little shocked to see the girl in white suddenly ask for his name. Could it be that the girl in white had regained her consciousness? After taking a closer look, Longao still believed that the girl in white had not regained her consciousness. What was going on? Why would the girl in white ask for his name out of the blue? However, Longao still replied with a smile, "My name is Longao, what about you?" Kang Lin. There was a loud boom. As soon as the two words Kang Lin were uttered, Longao's mind exploded with a buzz. If not for his good luck, he believed that just this alone would have been enough to take his life. What was going on? Longao was a little dumbfounded. He took 3 steps back and looked at the girl in white in front of him in shock. Of course, he knew that the 2 words the girl in white had just said, Kang Lin, was her name. In that case, Longao could not figure out why this would happen when the girl in white said her name. "I like the aura on your body very much. You have to protect me well." As she spoke, the girl in white's eyes, which had just regained consciousness, suddenly became empty. What did this mean? Longao did not understand. Even if he wanted to continue asking, it was not possible. Kang Lin? Kang Lin? Kang Lin? For some reason, Longao had an intuition that the identity of the girl in white in front of him was definitely not simple. Not to mention her strength, just her name alone was enough to deter him. He even knew very well that just the name of the girl in white was enough to disperse his primordial spirit. It was too terrifying. What was the background of the girl in white? Longao did not stay in the cave all the time. Instead, he left with the girl in white and inquired about Kang Lin everywhere. Regardless, he had not been in the vast starry sky for too long. He did not know the name Kang Lin at all. But the result? After inquiring for a few months, he still did not find out anything about Kang Lin. She was too mysterious. In the end, Longao had no choice but to bring Kang Lin back to the Soaring Dragon Empire. As soon as he returned, Longao went to look for Xiling. Xiling was the sword-will starry sky dominator and had lived for countless years. He believed that no one could compare with him in the vast starry sky. Longao, what happened? Xiling didn't know anything about the crystal coffin and the white-clothed girl because the entire Soaring Dragon Empire was sealed off. Longao didn't hide anything and told him everything that had happened. Xiling was shocked when she heard that. She stared at the woman in white. She had never thought that the woman before her was not only the ruler of a galaxy, but she had even grasped chaotic force. In that case, even if he became a ruler of the universe, he wouldn't be a match for the girl in white. Looking at Xiling's expression, Longao knew that even Xiling didn't know the identity of the girl in white. As expected. Shaking her head helplessly, Xiling said helplessly, "Longao, I know what you mean. According to what you just said, the girl in white almost shattered your primordial spirit just by saying her name. With such strength, I'm afraid that even if I grasped the chaotic force in the chaotic stone tablet, I might not be a match for her." With regards to this point, Longao had already thought of it. Just her name alone had almost shattered his primordial spirit. Such strength was indeed terrifying. If he hadn't experienced it himself, he would have found it hard to believe that there was such a super existence in the vast starry sky. It was unbelievable. "Xiling, you don't have the slightest impression of Kang Lin?" Shaking her head. "Longao, I've never heard anything about Kang Lin. To be honest, with the white-clothed girl's strength, she's definitely not a nameless person." Logically speaking, I should know about her. If Xiling knew, then the clairvoyant master and the others would know as well. If that was the case, would Kang Lin still be alive? Kang Lin's identity was still a mystery. If even Xiling and the clairvoyant master didn't know, then no one else would. It was depressing. Longao, what are you going to do now? How could Longao not know what Xiling meant? He asked, Xiling, what do you think I should do? Longao, I know you want to rely on this person to obtain the chaotic force. But now that things have happened, everyone in the vast starry sky, including the clairvoyant master, won't let this matter rest. Once this matter is revealed to be your doing, then. At this point, Violet's spirit did not continue, but the meaning of her words was very clear. Xiling, I have full confidence that even the clairvoyant master and the others can't know about this. It's easier said than done for them to lock onto my location. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew very well that the marvelous mathematician and the others must have thought of him first because of the crystal coffin and the white-clothed girl. In the entire vast starry sky, it was rare for a starry sky legend to disappear under the noses of countless powerhouses. In fact, it was almost impossible. It was just that the clairvoyant master wasn't fully confident and wouldn't come looking for him for the time being. Longao, are you worried that the clairvoyant master will come looking for you? Longao nodded. That's right. According to my guess, if nothing unexpected happens, the clairvoyant master will come looking for me in less than 3 months. Xiling was very worried. She naturally knew about Longao's current situation. As long as he took one wrong step, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. Just as Xiling was about to say something, Longao said, Xiling, I know you're worried, but I can't be passive. I have to take the initiative. I came back this time to ask you to help me take care of Kang Lin. As for me, I'll go to the martial heaven continent. That way, the clairvoyant master won't have any other ideas. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Longao naturally knew that the current situation was very unfavorable for him. If he didn't go to the Tianwu continent, then the divine mathematician would definitely begin to calculate him. As the saying goes, it's better to be safe than sorry. If the divine mathematician were to calculate the location of his empire, then he would be in big trouble. Longao naturally wasn't afraid of falling out with the clairvoyant master. In any case, he had the primal chaos hall. However, the current situation was a bit special. Other than protecting Kang Lin, he also had to protect the empire. If the clairvoyant master managed to calculate that he was the culprit, then the clairvoyant master would definitely attack him. If that happened, then let alone the white-robed woman, even his empire would suffer a calamity. Now wasn't the time to fall out with the clairvoyant master. If the person who obtained the primal chaos tablet in his empire could become the ruler of the starry sky, then the situation would be completely different. Chapter 2503. It was all because of the primal chaos 9-colored lotus. If the primal chaos seal hadn't transformed into the primal chaos 9-colored lotus, Master God Diviner would definitely have been able to lock onto him. It was truly a blessing in disguise. With Xiling taking care of the white-robed girl, Longao was at ease. After leaving the soaring dragon plane, Longao didn't hesitate at all. He immediately headed for the martial heaven continent. The martial heaven continent was only a middle-grade plane, but no one dared to look down on it. That was because it had a ruler of the starry sky overseeing it. The martial heaven continent. In the outer sea, within the Crystal Palace. Master God Diviner was a bit surprised by Longao's sudden appearance. The way he saw it, the legend of the starry sky that had suddenly appeared was very likely Longao. If it was Longao, would Longao still dare to come? Master God Diviner was a bit depressed. He had devoured the primal chaos tablet and become the ruler of the starry sky, but there were still people he couldn't divine. Longao was one of them. In the past, he had been able to divine a bit, but for some reason, in the past few decades, he hadn't been able to divine Longao's identity. What was going on? He couldn't figure it out. He really couldn't figure it out. However, Master God Diviner wasn't too shocked. He had already known that Longao wasn't an ordinary person. He just hadn't expected Longao to grow so quickly. Longao, why have you come this time? Longao nodded. He had come to prove that what had happened had nothing to do with him. Senior, I came this time because I heard that a crystal coffin and a white-robed girl appeared. Is that true? That's right. Not only is he the ruler of the starry sky, but he also controls the primal chaos energy within the primal chaos tablet. If we can find him, I'll definitely be able to divine the primal chaos tablet's primal chaos energy. Master God Diviner was completely confident in that. As for his suspicions about Longao, they were completely gone. First of all, as far as Master God Diviner was concerned, even if Longao was special, there was no way that a legendary of the starry sky would be able to stand up to him and the other sovereigns of the starry sky. Secondly, if the previous incident was the doing of Longao, then unless there was something wrong with his brain, Longao would definitely not walk into the trap. If it wasn't Longao, who else could it be? Master God Diviner was also extremely depressed. Even he could not deduce the culprit. As for the white-clothed girl, it was even more impossible. After all, the white-clothed girl was the ruler of the starry skies who controlled the chaotic force. Who exactly was the other party? If he could fully grasp the primal chaos energy within the tablet, he would definitely be able to deduce it. Mastering the power of primal chaos was the key. Otherwise, it would be difficult for him to find traces of the two of them in the vast starry sky. Senior, could it be that even with your divination ability, you are unable to deduce their tracks? Master God Diviner nodded helplessly. Sighing deeply, Master God Diviner said helplessly, if I'm not mistaken, the primal chaos tablet the white-clothed girl devoured must have been one of the 12 scattered throughout the starry sky. Longao laughed inwardly, unperturbed. He had acquired all 12 of the Chaos Stone Steelies in the Chaos Plane, and only a few people knew about it. Not even Master God Diviner knew about it. I don't know what method the white-clothed girl used. Not only was she able to devour the tablets in such a short time, but she was also able to grasp the power of primal chaos. Of course, Master God Diviner didn't know that the primal chaos tablet the white-clothed girl had devoured wasn't one of the 12 from before. Everyone knew that there were only 12 primal chaos tablets in the vast starry sky. However, Longao knew full well that there weren't only 12 primal chaos tablets in the starry sky. Even the 12 from before weren't the limit. According to Longao's conjecture, who knew how many primal chaos tablets there were in the starry sky? Not to mention anything else, just the primal chaos plane alone, including himself and the white-clothed girl, had a total of 14 primal chaos tablets. Although the white-clothed girl has successfully grasped the power of primal chaos within the primal chaos tablet, she might have suffered a backlash from the power of primal chaos. Otherwise, she would be number 1 in the entire starry sky. Even now, the white-clothed girl was still number 1. Before, Kang Lin had only casually used a single move to force Master God Diviner back. Such strength was enough to shake the entire starry sky. And this was when Kang Lin's mind wasn't clear. If she was, then let alone Master God Diviner, even if all the powerhouses joined forces, they still wouldn't be her match. This was without a doubt. Longao, are you willing to help me lock onto the white-clothed girl and this person's position? This again. Longao couldn't understand why Master God Diviner was always looking for him, as if there was nothing he couldn't do. It was like this before, and it was still like this now. Senior, forgive me for speaking bluntly, but if even you can't deduce their location, how can anyone else? I know my own limits. I have no way of locking onto their position. Even if there was a way, Longao knew that he couldn't do it. Master God Diviner wasn't angry at all about this, because he also knew that with Longao's current strength, there was no way he could help him. Instead, he directly told him that this matter was related to Longao. Could it be that he was overthinking things? Smiling, Master God Diviner said, I'm forcing you. Longao, you should increase your strength as quickly as possible. According to my calculations, a great calamity is about to befall the vast starry sky. When that time comes, Master God Diviner didn't continue, but the meaning behind his words was very clear. Longao nodded. Thank you for the reminder, Senior. I know what to do. Even if there wasn't a great calamity in the starry sky, he still had to increase his strength as quickly as possible. Because with the appearance of the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin, Longao had gradually discovered that the vast starry sky was a bit strange, because such a thing had never happened before. But what about now? First, it was the 12 Chaos Steelies from the Chaos Plane. Then, it was his Chaos Palace and Chaos Axe. Now, it was the crystal coffin and the white-clothed girl. One after another, and the interval between them wasn't very far. He wouldn't believe that there wasn't something fishy going on. Because of this, Longao had decided that he had to break through from the Starry Sky Legend realm to the Starry Sky Immortal realm as soon as possible. But for some reason, no matter what he did, he couldn't break through. Such a thing had never happened before. The only way was to hope that the Chaos Palace would release a mysterious power, and by devouring it, he might be able to break through the Starry Sky Immortal realm in one fell swoop. Chapter 2504. After leaving the Crystal Palace, Longao left the Martial Heaven continent. Longao was very depressed about his cultivation base. Even now, he was still unable to truly control the Primal Chaos Palace. If he couldn't control the Primal Chaos Palace, then he wouldn't be able to control its mysterious energy. Longao was very clear that it was because he had devoured the Primal Chaos Palace's mysterious energy that he had broken through twice so quickly to reach his current realm. If he hadn't devoured that mysterious energy, would he have been able to reach the Starry Sky Legend realm? What should he do? He couldn't think of anything. Even now, Longao couldn't figure out what had happened to him. Why had he been unable to break through for so long? The Starry Sky Immortal realm was the limit. The outer sea, the Crystal Palace. As soon as Longao left, Yidugu appeared. Father, do you really believe that what happened before wasn't Longao's doing? Yidugu didn't know whether his father believed it or not, but in any case, he absolutely didn't. In his opinion, in the entire starry sky, other than Longao, there was no one else capable of such a thing. A Starry Sky Legend. Longao's cultivation base had also reached the Starry Sky Legend realm. However, the God Diviner shook his head. It shouldn't be Longao. Yidugu seemed to want to say something, but the God Diviner cut him off. Let's stop here. It definitely isn't Longao's doing. What we need to do now is lock onto their tracks as quickly as possible. What the God Diviner feared the most was that the white-robed girl had fallen into the hands of a half-step Starry Sky ruler. Once that happened, the consequences would be unimaginable. That was especially true of the person who had saved the white-robed girl. Even if that person was only a Starry Sky Legend, he wouldn't believe that someone who could save the white-robed girl from their hands didn't have any power. The God Diviner even thought that this person might not be a Starry Sky Legend, but a Starry Sky ruler. Seeing that his father didn't want to talk about Longao, Yidugu didn't continue to pursue the matter. Father, even you can't calculate their tracks. This matter is a bit difficult. How could the God Diviner not know this? The longer he delayed, the worse it would be for him. Father, why don't we join forces with the other rulers of the Starry Sky, including the 9 half-step rulers of the Starry Sky, the Peak Rat Race, and the Peak Dragon Race? Master God Diviner shook his head. We can't do that. The girl in white and the mysterious man are variables. If we join forces with others, we might lose the girl in white. The white-clothed girl was determined to win. No matter what happened, he had to control the white-clothed girl. Father, if we don't join forces with the others, we will be in a very passive position if the girl in white is taken away by others. Of course, Yidugu knew the seriousness of the matter. Now, the white-clothed girl's strength was there for all to see. She could easily defeat her father with a casual move. In the end, catching the white-clothed girl didn't require strength, but luck. Until now, neither the marvelous mathematician nor Yidugu could figure out why the mysterious man could take the white-clothed girl away, but the white-clothed girl did not deal with the mysterious man. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would have found it hard to believe. Let's not talk about this for now. The most important thing now is to do everything possible to find a way to lock onto the mysterious man. It was easy to think about locking onto the mysterious man, but it was very difficult to do it. Because until now, no one knew the identity of the mysterious man. Even his father couldn't figure out the identity of the mysterious man. It was really incredible. But he knew. His father was the Starry Sky Master. Even if he hadn't mastered the power of chaos in the Chaos Stone Tablet, he could basically calculate anyone and anything. Why couldn't he calculate the mysterious man and the white-clothed girl? Father, what should we do now? He bowed his head and pondered for a while. After pondering for dozens of minutes, the marvelous mathematician said, "Dugu, come with me." Yi Dugu didn't know what his father was talking about, but he still followed. After leaving the Sky Marshal Plain, Longao didn't immediately return to the Soaring Dragon continent, because he wasn't sure whether the marvelous mathematician and Yi Dugu believed him. If they followed him, then things would be troublesome. As the saying goes, caution is the parent of safety. He didn't care about himself. The most important thing was the so-called empire. No matter what, he couldn't let anything happen to the empire. About 3 days later, just as Longao was preparing to return to the Soaring Dragon Empire and had just stepped into the plane, with a swoosh, Ziling had already appeared in front of him. She was really too fast. Ah! What did this mean? Looking at Ziling, who was so close to him, Kang Lin wasn't by his side. Longao was very curious. He didn't know what was going on with Ziling. Did something happen to Kang Lin? Before Longao could ask, Ziling said, "Longao, something bad happened." "What happened?" "3 days ago, when you just left the plane, Kang Lin disappeared. I couldn't find you, nor could I go to find you. I could only guard here." "Look, what happened?" Longao was afraid that Kang Lin would disappear, so he asked Ziling to guard Kang Lin. However, he never expected that Kang Lin would leave in the end. If other rulers of the stars found Kang Lin, things would be really troublesome. Longao didn't blame Ziling because he knew very well that even if it wasn't Ziling and someone else was guarding Kang Lin would still disappear. Even the clairvoyant couldn't make Kang Lin stay, let alone others. "Ziling, we can only search for Kang Lin secretly. We can't do it openly. If the clairvoyant finds out, we'll be in big trouble." Ziling didn't say much, but she felt very guilty. Of course, she knew what Kang Lin meant. If Kang Lin was here, whether it was Longao, herself, or others, they might be able to obtain the chaos power in the Chaos Stone Tablet. However, with Kang Lin's departure, all of this became impossible. Longao seemed to be able to see the guilt in Ziling's heart. He just smiled and didn't say anything, because any comforting words would be useless at this time. "Longao, I know what you're worried about. Just as you said, we can't openly search for Kang Lin's traces. We can only choose to search in secret. However, it's almost impossible to find Kang Lin in the vast starry sky." Longao knew what Ziling said, but he was a little unwilling to give up just like that. Kang Lin was too important, and it would determine whether he could master the chaos power. Not only that, but since the first time he saw Kang Lin, Longao had an inexplicable feeling. He couldn't describe it, but it was very special. He was also very curious. The girl in white attacked everyone, including the clairvoyant, but not him. It was really a little special. Chapter 2505. Under such circumstances, he could only choose to give up. Of course, Longao was unwilling to give up because Kang Lin was too important to him. But the current situation was very special. No one knew where Kang Lin had gone. Trying to find Kang Lin in the vast starry sky was like looking for a needle in a haystack. It was almost impossible. Most importantly, if he forced himself to search, the consequences would be unimaginable if he was discovered by the clairvoyant master and the others. "Longao, are you ready to give up?" He nodded. Longao said helplessly, "Ziling, I believe you know the current situation better than I do. I can't move. A single move would affect the whole body." Again, Longao was not worried about himself, but the empire and family behind him. Not only that. Longao also understood that if something belonged to him, it would belong to him no matter what. If it did not belong to him, then no matter how hard he tried, it would not belong to him. Xiling knew that the current situation was very unfavorable for Longao. But he was unwilling to give up so easily. Xiling, I'm going out for a walk. Xiling nodded and turned to go back. Longao was still a little unwilling to leave the soaring dragon plane. He hoped that he would be lucky enough to meet Kang Lin. Rumors about the crystal coffin and the white-clothed girl were everywhere in the vast starry sky. The more the rumors spread, the more mysterious they became. So far, no one had been able to locate the white-clothed girl and the mysterious man. Not to mention ordinary starry sky cultivators, even 10 starry sky rulers and 9 half-starry sky rulers could not locate them. No one believed it. But the entire starry sky was in a frenzy because everyone knew very well that if they could find the white-clothed girl, it was very likely that they would surpass the starry sky ruler. Such a temptation was absolutely powerful. Although the white-clothed girl was a starry sky ruler who had mastered the power of chaos, she was now in a state of confusion. Occasionally she would make a move. She searched frantically and searched every nook and cranny. But what was the result? The white-clothed girl and the mysterious man seemed to have evaporated into thin air, completely disappearing from the vast starry sky. You are Longao? Just as he was wandering around to see if his luck was good, a voice suddenly rang out. Looking at the young woman who had suddenly appeared in front of him, Longao seemed quite surprised. He had never thought that a woman would come looking for him. This girl wasn't simple. She was dressed in yellow clothes and had a pretty face. The girl in front of him could only be described with 8 words. She was a beauty that outshone the moon and put the flowers to shame. She was devastatingly beautiful. That's right. And who are you? Longao was very curious. He didn't know the identity of the girl in front of him. The starry sky was immortal. Longao could clearly sense that the girl in front of him was a starry sky immortal realm cultivator, and she looked no more than 25 years old. Such cultivation talent was something even he could only look up to. But you have to know. The reason why he was able to achieve what he had today was not only because of his life and death experiences, but also because of the mysterious power within the Chaos Palace. But what about the young lady before him? If the girl really relied on her talent to reach her current strength, then her talent and strength were too terrifying. You can call me Yun Qian. I have 2 questions for you, and I hope you can answer me truthfully. This girl in front of him was quite interesting. She was incomparably arrogant the moment she appeared, as though she was an empress. Longao didn't fall for such tricks. Longao didn't know that the girl in front of him wasn't simple. Since young, no one dared to go against her. Why should I answer you truthfully? Who are you to me? And who am I to you? What a joke. If you don't have anything else, then forgive me for not accompanying you. Goodbye. You dare. Without waiting for Yun Qian to finish her words, Longao continued, goodbye. Yun Qian was infuriated. However, for some reason, she suddenly burst out laughing. Laughing? Longao was very curious. He turned around and looked at the girl in front of him. This person was quite interesting. She was incomparably arrogant and furious just a moment ago, but now, she was laughing. Longao, I don't have any ill intentions. I just want to ask you 2 things. I'll leave immediately after I get what I want. I won't disturb you. How about it? Longao didn't say anything. It was a tacit agreement. He could clearly sense that the girl in front of him didn't have any murderous intent towards him. Otherwise, he would have attacked earlier. Rather than looking for trouble in the future, he wanted to hear what the girl wanted to ask him. No matter what, he didn't know Yun Qian. They hadn't even met before. Smiling, Yun Qian said, the first thing I want to ask is whether you were the one behind the crystal coffin and the girl in white. Huh? Hearing Yun Qian's words, Longao was surprised. He didn't know anything about Yun Qian, but Yun Qian seemed to know him very well. If that was the case, he seemed to be in a passive position. Longao, you don't have to think too much. I don't know you and I believe that you don't know me. I only heard about you from the outside world. I have to admit that you are a legend. According to the legends I heard about you, I guessed that you were the one behind the previous incident. What a smart girl. Longao certainly knew that he and Yun Chen didn't know each other. Based on the legends she heard about him, she was able to deduce that he was the one behind the crystal coffin and the girl in white. Therefore, he could almost say that the girl in front of him was definitely not simple. She could be said to be very powerful. Thus, Longao became very vigilant. Seeing that Longao didn't speak, Yun Chen smiled and continued, Longao, you don't have to worry. It seems that my guess was right. But don't worry, if I wanted to leak this matter, I wouldn't have come to you. I'm just curious. I want to see what kind of person the legendary monster Longao is. Would Longao believe her? Longao didn't know why, but he always felt that the girl in front of him wasn't lying. If that was the case, then he really couldn't figure out the girl's thoughts. What did Yun Chen mean by doing this? He couldn't figure it out. He really couldn't figure it out. Miss Yun Chen, what do you mean? Longao, I just said that I don't mean anything else. I'm just curious. What kind of existence is the person who can disturb the vast starry sky? Besides being a little handsome, you don't seem to be very strong. After hearing Yun Chen's words, Longao was speechless to the extreme. He was simply speechless. Seeing that Longao didn't speak again, Yun Chen laughed again and said, well, the second thing I want to know is, how about I be your confidant? Chapter 2506. Confidant. Longao certainly knew what it meant to have a confidant. It was precisely because of this. Longao never thought that the girl in front of him, the so-called Yun Chen, would say such a thing. Was she out of her mind? Yun Chen, are you out of your mind? PFFF, Yun Chen was not angry at all. Instead, she laughed. Without the slightest care, Yun Chen smiled and said, Longao, looking at the entire vast starry sky, I'm afraid there's no one else who can reach your level at your age. Longao didn't say anything, because he was very clear on one principle, and that was that there was always someone better than you, and there was always someone better than you. I, Yun Chen, only have one wish in my life, and that is to marry an unparalleled hero. You meet my requirements. It was the first time he heard such a reason. There were so many unparalleled heroes. Could it be that she could just casually find someone to marry? It was really unheard of. Longao could almost say that the girl in front of him was either out of her mind or had nothing better to do. If he continued to dawdle with the girl, then he would be out of his mind. He turned around and left without the slightest hesitation. But would Yun Chen choose to give up so easily? It was definitely impossible. Spatial teleportation? Longao thought that with his speed, he could easily get rid of the girl. But in the end, no matter how he used spatial teleportation, he could not get rid of Yun Chen. Even if the other party was a starry sky immortal, Longao had full confidence that his speed could definitely beat a peak starry sky immortal, let alone a starry sky immortal. What was going on? Spatial teleportation? Looking at Yun Chen also using spatial teleportation, Longao was completely stunned. In the vast starry sky, there were probably only a few people who could use spatial teleportation. He never thought that Yun Chen could actually use spatial teleportation. It was really an incredible thing. If so, it was almost impossible for him to get rid of Yun Chen. Until now, he still did not know who Yun Chen was and why she was following him around like a ghost who had been wronged. He was helpless to the extreme. He stopped abruptly. Looking at the young lady in front of him, Longao smiled bitterly and said helplessly, Yun Chen, we don't know each other. Why do you have to force me? He couldn't figure out what was going on. With Yun Chen's appearance, talent, and strength, she could find anyone she wanted. Why did she have to find him? Towards himself, Longao still had self-awareness. It was impossible for something like this to happen just by relying on his charm alone. Longao, to tell you the truth, I've only heard rumors about you before. I don't know much about you, but after meeting you this time, I realized that I fell in love with you at first sight. It was love at first sight again. Longao was a little dumbfounded. He couldn't figure it out and said, "Yun Qian, my temper isn't very good. You'd better not follow me. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless." "Heartless?" Yun Qian just smiled. She didn't put Longao's threat in her eyes. Her strength was there for all to see. Longao didn't believe it. Without any warning, he used his finger as a sword and a sword chi instantly shot out. He didn't want to kill Yun Qian at all. Longao could clearly sense that Yun Qian didn't have any killing intent towards him. Space cracks began to appear around them and they were compressing crazily. Under normal circumstances, things that others couldn't do didn't mean that Longao couldn't do it. With Longao's mastery of space, it wasn't difficult for him to kill an immortal realm expert. She wasn't surprised at all because everyone in the vast space knew that Longao could not only break open space cracks, but he could also compress space cracks. However, hearing about it was one thing and seeing it was another. Yun Qian was very clear that even her father couldn't do it. It was hard to imagine what ability Longao used. "Longao, how did you do it?" Without the slightest fear, Longao could sense that Yun Qian in front of him must be very powerful. It seemed that Yun Qian's identity wasn't simple. Could it be that Yun Qian came from one of the 9 great star empires? If she really came from one of the 9 great star empires, then even if he and Yun Qian couldn't be enemies, they definitely couldn't be friends. Not wanting to care about Yun Qian, Longao turned and left. However, the result was the same. Yun Qian didn't choose to give up and followed Longao. Wherever he went, Yun Qian followed like a shadow. Under such circumstances, Longao didn't dare to casually return to the empire. Because until now, he still didn't know Yun Qian's purpose. Whether it was good or bad, he didn't know. It was better to be careful. If the empire's whereabouts were known, then the 9 great star empires wouldn't let it go. With his current strength, it wasn't time to confront the 9 great star empires. "Yun Qian, where did you come from?" "Guess. Guess your sister." When Longao heard Yun Qian asking him to guess, he was depressed to the extreme. Because how could he guess Yun Qian's identity? Unless the divine mathematician came, maybe he could calculate Yun Qian's true identity. "Longao, you have a grudge against the 9 great star empires. If you marry me, I can ask my family to help you deal with the 9 great star empires. What do you think?" Deal with the 9 great star empires? Yun Qian's words had a hidden meaning. According to her words, wasn't she telling him that the family behind Yun Qian was very powerful? Otherwise, Yun Qian wouldn't be so arrogant. She actually wanted to fight against the 9 great star empires. Thinking about it everywhere, in the vast starry sky, which family could compete with the 9 great star empires? Unless it was one of the 5 major races, but it seemed a bit ridiculous. In addition to the other 5 major races, Longao really couldn't think of any other family in the vast starry sky that could compete with the 9 great starry sky empire. No matter what, among the peak of the human race, the 9 great starry sky empire were invincible. No one dared to provoke them, except for himself. Not to mention the peak starry sky immortal realm existence of the 9 great star empires, just the 9 half-step starry sky dominators were enough to deter the entire starry sky. If that was the case, then could the family behind Yun Qian also have a half-step starry sky dominator? 9 great secret realms. Longao certainly didn't believe that there were only 9 great secret realms in the vast starry sky. Miaoling alone had already devoured the black boulder. If she succeeded in refining it, then Miaoling would definitely reach the half-step starry sky dominator realm. According to this situation, there must be other half-step starry sky dominators in the vast starry sky. They were just hidden and no one knew about it. If that was the case, then the family behind Yun Qian must be extremely powerful. Chapter 2507. The more Yun Qian acted this way, the more uncertain Longao felt. "Longao, you don't like me?" Longao felt extremely helpless as he watched Yun Qian continue to pester him. It wasn't a matter of whether he liked her or not. He couldn't possibly fall in love with every woman he met. Women were the most unreasonable people in the world. Trying to reason with a woman was like playing the lute to a cow. Longao didn't run away immediately because Yun Qian's speed was simply too fast. She had even mastered space teleportation. Even if he wanted to shake her off, it was almost impossible. Seeing that Longao had stopped running, Yun Qian only smiled and didn't say anything. In the distance, a middle-aged man who looked extremely similar to Yun Qian was looking calmly at his daughter and Longao in the distance. Behind the middle-aged man were two elders, one in black and one in white. They didn't look harmonious at all. Clan leader, could it be that the young lady has taken a liking to this man? The two of them were shocked because the young lady's personality and arrogance were obvious to all. In all these years, the young lady had never looked at any man in the face other than her father and the two of them. They didn't know why. The young lady was very interested in the legendary Longao and had even declared that she liked Longao very much. It was love at first sight. What was this? The most important thing was that the clan had a clear rule that members of the clan couldn't become partners with outsiders. The two of them wanted to see what the clan leader in front of them meant. Everyone in the clan knew that the clan leader doted on his daughter very much. It could be said that the clan leader would try his best to satisfy whatever the young lady wanted. He had never gone against the young lady's wishes. Yun Lu smiled calmly and said, "Our clan has been sealed off for so many years. It's time for us to show ourselves." Just as the two of them were about to say something, Yun Lu waved his hand and said without hesitation, "As long as he has the ability, I'll marry Qian to him. However, if he doesn't have the right, then don't blame me when the time comes." The two of them, who were still feeling depressed, were overjoyed when they heard the clan leader's words. If that was the case, it would be impossible for Longao to marry the young lady. "Patriarch, what should we do now? Let Qian play for a while. We still have important things to do." Although they were extremely unwilling in their hearts, the two of them did not dare to say anything and could only leave with Yun Lu. From beginning to end, Longao had no idea that the three of them had appeared. Just when Longao and Yun Qian were entangled, the search for the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin in the vast starry sky had reached a fever pitch. After searching for so long, there was still no trace of the white-clothed girl or the crystal coffin. Everyone was worried about one thing. That was the mysterious person who took the girl in white away. He didn't know who that person was. If the mysterious person had also devoured the Chaos Stone Tablet, then by borrowing the white-clothed girl's secret, wouldn't he be able to obtain the chaos energy within the Chaos Stone Tablet? A starry sky ruler without primal chaos power and a starry sky ruler with primal chaos power were two completely different concepts. They weren't on the same level. In particular, the 10 starry sky rulers and 9 half-step starry sky rulers were impatient to find the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin. Once the white-clothed girl regained her consciousness, or the mysterious person obtained primal chaos power, the first people they would deal with would be the 10 starry sky rulers, and then the 9 half-step starry sky rulers. Because of this, everyone was going crazy. If it had been something else, the 9 half-step starry sky rulers would not have dared to compete with the 10 starry sky rulers. Only the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin were two completely different concepts. The 9 half-step starry sky rulers had great selfish motives. If the 9 of them could obtain primal chaos power, then perhaps they could use the secret realm to not only become a starry sky ruler, but even surpass the 10 starry sky rulers. But the result? The white-clothed girl and the mysterious person seemed to have vanished from the face of the earth. Even a carpet search would be useless. Tianwu Continent. Outer Sea, Crystal Palace. Master God Diviner cursed angrily. His calculations had failed again, and he was feeling extremely depressed. "Father, you failed again?" Seeing his father fail again, Yi Dugu was also very depressed. He had never imagined that even his father would be unable to calculate the white-clothed girl and the mysterious person's location. That wasn't all. His father could not even calculate the location of the mysterious person. Under normal circumstances, the other party was just a small figure in the starry sky. With his father's ability to calculate, how could he not be able to calculate it? Until now, Yi Dugu still couldn't figure out how the mysterious person who had taken the white-clothed girl with him had done it with the strength of a starry sky legend. It was hard to imagine that a mere starry sky legend could leave under the noses of so many super experts. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it. Yi Dugu had clearly sensed that with his strength, he could destroy the mysterious person in a matter of minutes. However, the mysterious person was too strange. Let alone him, even his father was helpless. Dugu, during this period of time, I have divined 35 times, but I have not been able to find out the whereabouts of the two people. I can't even figure out the identity of the mysterious man. The God Diviner was very clear that even if he had mastered the Divine Calculation Tablet's primal chaos power, he wouldn't be able to calculate everything in the world, including people and things. However, he could calculate the identity of the mysterious person who had taken the white-clothed girl away. No matter how he calculated, he couldn't calculate the identity of the mysterious person. Yi Dugu, of course, knew his father's helplessness. He said, "Father, whether you believe it or not, I still feel that the mysterious person who took the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin was no one else but the Longao. Because in the vast universe, other than the Longao, I can't think of a second person who could do this. A starry sky legend fighting against countless experts and forcing his way out in the end." Until now, Yi Dugu still believed in his judgment. He believed that the person who had taken the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin was the Longao he hated the most. But what about the God Diviner? The God Diviner shook his head and said, "Although I can't calculate the identity of the Longao, I can say with certainty that the person who took the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin was not the Longao, but someone else." Yi Dugu was depressed to the extreme. He couldn't understand why his father didn't believe his guess. "Father." Before Yi Dugu could finish, the God Diviner said, "There's no need to worry about this. If it's not the Longao, then it's not the Longao." Chapter 2508. Seeing that his father was a little unhappy, Yi Dugu did not say much. Of course, the divine mathematician did not stop there, because he knew very well that even if he went out now, it would be like looking for a needle in the sea to find traces of the two in the vast starry sky. The only way was to keep calculating and see if he could figure it out. Yi Dugu's current strength had not really reached the starry sky dominator level, but he had reached the limit of the starry sky immortal realm. In other words, Yi Dugu was only one step away from becoming a true starry sky dominator. Even so, Yi Dugu was full of confidence that he could kill Longao. But could he? Definitely not. If his father was willing, not to mention now, he believed that Longao would have fallen more than 100 years ago. It was just that his father was not willing, so he did not dare to act casually. Yi Dugu was very clear about his father's means. Even if it was him, once he angered his father, he would not be able to escape. It was very helpless. In Yi Dugu's view, if he did not kill Longao as soon as possible, it would definitely bring trouble to him and his father in the future. Longao did not return to the empire, nor did he look for trouble with the 9 great starry sky empires. Instead, he wandered around the various planes. As for Yun Qian, she still didn't choose to leave and followed Longao. It could be said that wherever Longao went, Yun Qian would follow. She was like a lingering spirit. In the blink of an eye, 3 months passed quietly. Yun Qian followed Longao for several months. Not only did she not show the slightest impatience, but she also became more and more excited. From time to time, she would catch up with Longao and talk about some messy things. His strength was not as good as Yun Qian, his speed was not as good as Yun Qian. Longao was helpless against this mysterious girl. What should he do? In the end, Longao could not bear it anymore. Just as Yun Qian was following him. "Miss Yun Qian, please tell me, why have you been following me? Love at first sight? She likes me? Admiration for me?" Everything was bullsh*t. If he chose to believe it, then he would really be out of his mind. Because of this, Longao didn't believe it from the beginning to the end. Yun Qian smiled and said, "Longao, I've said it before. I, Yun Qian, want to marry a demon who is not afraid of anything. You just happen to fit the bill. Moreover, I fell in love with you at first sight. You think I'll believe your bullshit? Believe it or not, I will try my best to fight for my own happiness. Longao was very depressed. After thinking for a while, he said, why don't you and I get straight to the point? What do you want from me this time? Just tell me. As long as it's something I can do, I'll do it for you. Longao couldn't wait to get rid of Yun Qian, but he couldn't do it, so he could only choose to compromise. He had already decided that as long as he could do it, he would never refuse, as long as he could get rid of the woman in front of him as soon as possible. Longao. Before Yun Qian could finish speaking, a white figure suddenly appeared. Kang Lin. Longao was a little dumbfounded when he saw the young lady in white suddenly appear in front of him. He never expected that Kang Lin, who had disappeared, would suddenly appear at this time. Don't attack. Yun Qian naturally knew how terrifying the young lady in white's strength was. If she were to face her head-on, she would definitely die. She didn't continue to stay. Longao, I'll come and find you again. Fortunately, Longao stopped her in time. Otherwise, Kang Lin's attack alone would have been enough to kill Yun Qian. There was no doubt about it. Why did you come back? Looking at the young lady in white, Longao didn't know why, but he had a feeling that Kang Lin seemed to have come back because of him. Right now, the white-clothed girl's eyes were still empty and her face was blank. However, at this time, Kang Lin said in an extremely calm voice, for you. For you. With just these 3 words, Longao already knew that his guess was correct. As for why Kang Lin would come back for him, it was impossible to know. Kang Lin only said the 3 words for you and didn't speak again. She just stayed by Longao's side and didn't leave his side. Could it be that his charm was that great? Whether it was Yun Qian or Kang Lin, they both seemed to like following him. Of course, Longao didn't think that his charm was that great. He was just curious as to why the 2 of them wanted to follow him. Yun Qian's purpose was still unknown, while Kang Lin was even more mysterious. A starry sky ruler who wasn't clear-headed and didn't know what she was doing, yet she knew to come back and look for him. After Kang Lin's return, Longao wasn't as carefree as before. He knew very well that the entire vast starry sky was looking for Kang Lin. If others locked onto him and Kang Lin's location, the consequences would be unimaginable. He brought Kang Lin back to the soaring dragon empire. As for the matter of the young lady in white, other than Xiling, no one else knew, including Longao and the others. This was because Longao and the others had been in seclusion ever since they devoured the primal chaos tablet. They only hoped to refine the primal chaos tablet as quickly as possible and become a starry sky ruler. It was easy to think about it, but refining it was very difficult. It wasn't something that could be done overnight. Ever since Longao and the others had devoured the primal chaos tablet, no one had been able to completely refine the primal chaos tablet and become a starry sky ruler. Seeing Longao return with Kang Lin, Xiling was a little dumbfounded. She seemed to find it hard to believe. Under such circumstances, Longao was still able to bring the young lady in white back. She didn't know how Longao had done it. Longao, where did you find Kang Lin? Xiling asked whatever she wanted to know, because their relationship had reached that level. And Xiling knew that no matter what she asked, Longao wouldn't be angry. Longao smiled. He didn't know what to say, but he still said, Xiling, maybe you don't believe me, but I didn't go looking for Kang Lin. I don't know why, but Kang Lin came back on her own. Longao didn't mention anything about Yun Qian, because he didn't think he liked Yun Qian. After all, Yun Qian was just a passerby to him. There was no need to mention it. Violet Spirit was very shocked. Of course, she knew that Longao was not fooling her. The girl in white had returned for no reason. As for the reason, even Longao did not know. Even she could not figure out the reason. What was going on? Why would Kang Lin return for no reason? Chapter 2509. Longao, how are you going to deal with Kang Lin? This was the most troublesome thing. Because Xiling knew very well that if the girl in white continued to follow Longao, no one could guarantee that she wouldn't accidentally reveal his whereabouts. It was better to be safe than sorry. Of course, Xiling knew what it would mean if the girl in white revealed his whereabouts. If that happened, Longao would really be in big trouble. How could Longao not know what Xiling meant? He thought for a while. His expression was very serious because Longao also knew what Xiling was worried about. He couldn't control the girl in white at all, so he couldn't be sure when she would leave and when she would return. If she wanted to leave, no one would be able to stop her. No matter what, the girl in white could defeat the Oracle with one move. There was no doubt about her strength. She could definitely dominate the vast starry sky. This was the most important problem. What should he do? With a helpless expression, Longao said helplessly, "Xiling, what do you think we should do now? The sealed plane is of no use to Canglin. The only thing we can do is to follow her closely." There seemed to be no other way. Longao, according to what you just said, Canglin wouldn't leave casually. No matter who it was, I believe she would choose to leave in less than 2 hours. I thought of that too. How could Longao not have thought of this? Previously, he thought that Xiling would keep an eye on Canglin and he could do his own thing. He didn't expect that Canglin would choose to leave in less than 2 hours according to Xiling. If that was the case, then no matter who Canglin followed, she wouldn't have stayed for more than 2 hours. As for himself, until now, Longao still couldn't figure out why Canglin would follow him, not attack him, and even return. He couldn't figure it out. He really couldn't figure it out. He had no other choice. Longao could only follow the white-clothed girl closely. Normally, the white-clothed girl was like a statue, quietly standing there. No matter where Longao went, the white-clothed girl would follow. Longao even did an experiment. No matter how fast he was, Canglin was able to follow him closely without even changing the distance between them. It was hard to imagine how powerful Canglin was. Soaring Dragon Empire. Back Mountain. This mountain peak had already been listed as a forbidden area by Longao. No matter who it was, no one was allowed to take even half a step into it. Those who disobeyed would be killed without mercy. Longao looked at the white-clothed girl in front of him and the crystal coffin beside her. He didn't do anything and just watched quietly. Longao didn't know what Canglin wanted to do. Canglin. A crystal coffin. The crystal coffin now emitted a very special light. It was milky white and gave people a very comfortable feeling. Canglin came to the front of the crystal coffin and gently touched it with her right hand. Although her eyes were still empty, there was a slight expression on her face. However, this expression was very strange. Anyway, Longao couldn't figure out what this expression on Canglin's face meant. Longao couldn't guess what was in the crystal coffin, nor could he see it. At this moment, suddenly, the white-clothed girl's body trembled violently. Immediately after, her face regained consciousness. She slowly turned around and looked at Longao, who wasn't far away. "Thank you very much for your help. I will repay you in the future." Longao was a little dumbfounded. He didn't know what to say to Canglin because he knew very well that Canglin had only regained her consciousness temporarily. As for how long it would last, it was really unknown. It would be a lie to say that the reason why he helped Canglin wasn't selfish at all. Apart from his own selfishness, it was more because he didn't want the Oracle and the others to capture the white-clothed girl. "Where did you come from?" Taking advantage of Canglin's consciousness, Longao naturally had to figure out the other party's identity. Just knowing her name was completely nonsense. In any case, Longao knew that the reason why Canglin became the ruler of the universe and grasped the power of chaos was definitely not because she swallowed the previous 12 chaos tablets. Others might not know, but he knew very well that all 12 chaos tablets in the chaos plane were obtained by him. From this, one could imagine that Canglin's origin was definitely not simple. Canglin of course knew what Longao wanted to ask. Her voice was extremely indifferent as she said, "It's best that you don't know about me. It's good for you. Don't worry, you saved me this time. In the future, you will get everything you want." Get everything he wanted. To tell the truth, Longao certainly didn't care because it was better to rely on oneself than on others. Only by relying on oneself would one have the most confidence. However, since Kang Lin had already said that, he didn't continue to ask because he knew very well that even if he continued to ask, Kang Lin certainly wouldn't say half a word. He clearly knew that it was impossible, so why would he still do that? Longao, my consciousness will still be intact in a while. Kang Lin seemed to be unwilling to mention the latter part. She paused for a moment before continuing, I will have to trouble you for a while, but in order to let you protect me better, I will temporarily give it to you. If it was someone else, they would definitely agree without hesitation because it was a treasure that even Kang Lin valued so much. Just think about it and one could imagine how powerful it was. However, Longao shook his head and said, my fate is in my own hands. I don't believe anyone can kill me. If you don't believe me, you can choose someone else. Longao was also a little unhappy, but Kang Lin didn't get angry at all. Instead, she smiled and said, very good, very good. Perhaps you are the most suitable person. Let's see how good your fortune is. What did Kang Lin mean by that? Longao was completely confused, but he didn't think too much about it. Because after Kang Lin completely recovered her consciousness, she only had a single request, and that was how to control the chaotic energy within the Chaos Stone tablet. As for Kang Lin, it had nothing to do with him at all. Kang Lin didn't say anything and neither did Longao. Kang Lin stared at the crystal coffin before her while Longao gazed in another direction. No one knew what the two of them were thinking about. Time passed by bit by bit. About an hour later, Kang Lin's expression suddenly changed. Her eyes became empty again with a blank expression. What did this mean? At this moment, Kang Lin lost her consciousness again. As Kang Lin lost her consciousness, the crystal coffin suddenly turned into a white light and directly entered Kang Lin's body before disappearing. Chapter 25:10. Longao did not tell anyone about Kang Lin's sudden recovery of consciousness, including Xiling. Between him and Kang Lin, at most, it could be said that they were using each other, and it could also be said that they were cooperating. Kang Lin was no different from before. She followed Longao wherever he went. Because of the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin, the 9 great starry sky empires had completely ignored Longao. Longao and the white-clothed girl were not on the same level. In the vast starry sky, on a certain plain, Chen you're too willful. Yun Chen smiled. Since young, she had never been afraid of her father, although everyone was afraid of him. Yun Chen knew very well how much her father loved her. Father, I really like Longao this time. Yun Chen was not surprised at all. As for what Yun Lu was thinking, no one knew except for himself. Chen you went to look for Longao just to find the white-clothed girl. Before Yun Lu could finish speaking, Yun Chen continued, Father, do you believe in love at first sight? Yun Chen did not need to say more. Yun Lu and the other two had already guessed something. Did Yun Lu really believe in love at first sight? Chen do you know the rules of the clan? I know, but father, you promised Chen that Chen marriage would be decided by Chen herself, and no one else could interfere, including father. The two elders behind Yun Lu felt helpless when they heard Yun Chen's words. In the entire clan, only Yun Chen dared to speak to the clan leader like that. If it had been anyone else, they would have been beheaded and dead. Yun Lu helplessly shook his head. He smiled and said, although I won't care too much about your marriage, anyone who wants to marry my daughter will have to go through me and my clan. Otherwise, don't even talk about marrying you when the time comes. Even being able to continue living would be a huge problem. Yun Lu did not give Yun Chen any chance to speak. Elders, after we locked onto her this time, if nothing unexpected happens, the girl in white should still be following Longao. This was not Yun Chen's guess. It was Yun Lu's guess. From this, one could imagine how powerful Yun Lu was. Clan leader, I still don't understand why the white-clothed girl is following Longao. Not to mention the two elders, even Yun Chen couldn't figure it out. Was Longao's charm really that great? As for the white-robed girl's identity, the 4 of them were well aware that she was a super existence that was superior to the likes of Master Godly Mathematician and the others. Let's not worry about this for now. Remember, don't alert the enemy. Let's just wait and see. Wait and see. The two of them looked very depressed. Patriarch, right now, everyone in the vast starry sky is looking for the white-clothed girl. Once they find out that it was Longao who did this, I'm afraid that someone will beat us to it. How could Yunlu not understand the intentions of the two elders? Longao isn't a simple person. If he could be locked onto so easily, then he wouldn't be him. He was very curious. The two of them could not figure out why the Patriarch valued Longao so much. Since the Patriarch didn't say anything, the two of them didn't dare to ask. Qian, come back with me first. Yun Qian shook her head. Of course, she didn't want to go back at this time. However, before she could say anything, Yunlu said, Qian, if you don't come back with me this time, then you won't even have a chance to settle the matter between you and Longao. Yun Qian glared fiercely at her father, but there was nothing she could do. She knew her father's character very well. Although he usually doted on her, he was a man of his word. If he didn't give her a chance, she wouldn't be able to do anything. In the end, Yun Qian had no choice but to return with Yunlu. Longao didn't know anything about Yunlu. Until now, Longao still couldn't figure out which force in the vast starry sky, other than the 5 great races, could contend with the 9 great starry sky empires of the human race. In order not to cause trouble for himself, Longao stayed in the empire with the white-clothed girl. Longao was also a little afraid. He didn't know if he would encounter the same thing once he left the empire with the white-clothed girl. It was better to be safe than sorry. If the white-clothed girl suddenly left halfway and this matter was leaked, he would be in big trouble. It was better to be careful. When Kang Lin completely regained her consciousness and he learned how to obtain the chaotic force in the Chaos Stone Tablet, he wouldn't have to be afraid of anything when he left. As for when Kang Lin's consciousness would recover, no one knew. It could be a year, 100 years, or even 10,000 years. In the side hall, Longao looked at the white-clothed girl standing beside him. He had been wondering what Kang Lin's identity was. Previously, when Kang Lin had temporarily regained her consciousness, she had casually said a sentence. He had already guessed that Kang Lin was not simple. Longao, I just received news that in order to find Kang Lin and the crystal coffin, the 9 great starry sky empires didn't hesitate to go all out. In just 10 days, they have suffered heavy losses. As for the 10 rulers of the starry sky, they haven't taken any action. However, according to my guess, the 10 of them won't let this matter rest. Longao wasn't surprised at all because he had already guessed that the 9 great starry sky empires would definitely go all out for the same goal, especially when it came to the chaotic force. There was no doubt that if the 10 rulers of the starry sky chose to give up, it wouldn't be just 10 people. In the vast starry sky, the 10 rulers of the starry sky most likely wanted to find the white-clothed girl. Only then would they have a chance to obtain the chaotic force in the Chaos Stone Tablet. It was still the same sentence. Not having control of the chaotic force and having control of the chaotic force were 2 completely different concepts. As long as the 10 rulers weren't fools, they would definitely understand this. Ziling, I know what you're worried about. But don't worry, before I have full confidence, I won't take Kang Lin and leave casually. I know what we mean. With our current strength, it's not time for us to fight them head-on. Not to mention now, even if the empire already had a ruler of the starry sky overseeing it, there was nothing to worry about. Longao, Shen Tong has been in the empire all this time. Do you think this person will reveal your whereabouts? A ruler of the starry sky might not come looking for trouble, but that didn't mean that a half-step ruler of the starry sky wouldn't. If the 9 great starry sky empires knew that Longao and the empire were here, Ziling was almost certain that the 9 great starry sky empires would definitely come to deal with Longao and the empire. This was what Ziling was most worried about. Chapter 25:11. Until now. Ziling was almost certain that even if Shen Tong was not an enemy, he was definitely not a friend. How could Longao not know what Ziling meant? In fact, Longao was also a little worried about Shen Tong. No matter what, Shen Tong had turned against him before. Whether Shen Tong would betray him, even he did not know. Seeing that Longao did not speak, Xiling already knew that Longao was not completely confident. Longao, you'd better make a decision as soon as possible. Otherwise, you won't even have a chance to prepare. After saying this, Xiling did not continue speaking. Instead, he turned and left. Longao was the only one left in the side hall. He sat there quietly. Regarding Purple Spirit's worry, Longao had indeed taken it to heart. If Shen Tong was not handled well, it would indeed be troublesome. It was a little unrealistic to deal with Shen Tong. Because at this moment, Longao still did not know if Shen Tong would betray him. If Shen Tong did not intend to betray him, then he would have made an unnecessary move. It was not worth it to have another enemy for no reason. What should he do? There seemed to be only one way now. That was to bring the entire empire to another location. This time, the relocation had to be even more secretive than before. No outsiders could know about it. He had to do it. He could not let any accidents happen. With the current strength of the empire, it was not yet time to go against the 9 great starry sky empires. Not to mention 1 against 9, even in a one-on-one situation, his empire was not a match for the other party. There was only one result if he went head-to-head. It would be very disadvantageous for him and the empire. Longao moved very quickly. In order to conceal himself, he used the Chaos Palace this time. Moreover, he had to bring Kang Lin with him at all times. This way, the probability of her being exposed was very high. Longao calculated that to move the entire empire, he would need dozens of transfers. During this period, as long as someone discovered Kang Lin's whereabouts, things would be very troublesome. However, Longao's luck was really good. He moved the entire empire without leaving a single trace. It was still a low-leveled plane. Longao found an extremely secretive place in the low-leveled plane and built an underground palace. With the current strength of the Soaring Dragon Empire, building an underground palace was as easy as flipping one's hand. Until this moment, Longao could finally heave a sigh of relief. But it was not a solution for Kang Lin to keep following him. He could not go anywhere. Longao was very depressed in his heart. He tried all kinds of methods, but he was unable to keep Kang Lin. No matter who he handed it to, as long as he left, there was no doubt that Kang Lin would disappear and appear by his side. What attribute did the primal chaos stone tablet that Kang Lin devoured belong to? The primal chaos stone tablets, apart from being divided into levels, were also divided into various attributes. For example, the 5 elements primal chaos stone tablet, devour primal chaos stone tablet, lightning primal chaos stone tablet, space primal chaos stone tablet, time primal chaos stone tablet, destruction primal chaos stone tablet, reincarnation primal chaos stone tablet, slaughter primal chaos stone tablet, divine divination primal chaos stone tablet, sword intent primal chaos stone tablet, indestructible tyrant body primal chaos stone tablet, darkness primal chaos stone tablet, ice and fire chaos stone tablet, sky demon chaos stone tablet, black dragon chaos stone tablet, life chaos stone tablet, power chaos stone tablet, wind and cloud chaos stone tablet, spirit chaos stone tablet, light chaos stone tablet, mad blade chaos stone tablet, divine spear chaos stone tablet. He did not know what kind of chaos stone tablet Kang Lin belonged to. 3 years. In the blink of an eye, she left. Seeing Kang Lin suddenly leave, Longao was very surprised because in these 3 years, Kang Lin could be said to have never left his side. Suddenly leaving, she seemed to be a little unaccustomed. However, Longao was very clear that this kind of thing could not be forced. If Kang Lin was willing to stay, it would be impossible for him to chase her away. If Kang Lin was not willing to stay, then even if he wanted to, he would not be able to do it. After 3 years of being together, Longao seemed to have gotten used to having Kang Lin by his side. If it was Kang Lin who had regained her consciousness, Longao naturally wouldn't have the slightest bit of worry. No matter what, Kang Lin's strength was there for all to see. Even the Oracle wasn't Kang Lin's match, let alone others. But now, The situation was completely different. At this moment, Kang Lin had not recovered her consciousness and would only occasionally attack. What if she did not attack? Not to mention the divine mathematician and other starry sky rulers, even an ordinary starry sky cultivator would be able to easily deal with Kang Lin. Letting out a deep sigh. Since things had come to this, there was no point in worrying. Since there was nothing he could do to change it, there was no need to continue thinking. After Kang Lin left, Longao did not continue to stay because there were many things he needed to do. It was just that with Kang Lin following him, he could not do anything. Third Starry Sky Empire. Longao had just stepped into the third plane when he met Gongsun He. As the old ancestor of the Third Starry Sky Empire, there was no need to mention Gongsun He's strength. As one of the 9 half-step Starry Sky rulers, Gongsun He was invincible except for the 12 Starry Sky rulers. The strength of the 9 half-step Starry Sky rulers was almost the same. Longao did not dare to compliment Gongsun He's character. If Gongsun He had helped him when he went to the Third Starry Sky Empire, then he would have treated Gongsun He as one of his own and a friend like Miao Ling. But now, that was not very likely. Even if they were not enemies, they were definitely not friends. Brother Long Gongsun He, you and I are no longer friends. Why do you have to be like this? Are you not afraid that I will implicate you? Although Longao was unhappy, he did not resent Gongsun He because no matter who it was, they would have made the same choice as Gongsun He. With Long Ming's status and strength, the deterrence of a starry sky ruler was not something to be trifled with. Gongsun He felt a little helpless. If he had known that Long Ming had not recovered his strength, he would not have had to be afraid of anything. He might have been able to kill Long Ming and devour the Chaos Stone Tablet on Long Ming. It was really a mistake. Brother Long, what happened before was my fault. I hope you can give me a chance. How about it? As a half-step starry sky ruler, it was impossible for him to say such words. However, Gongsun He did it. If it were anyone else, they would have become friends with Gongsun He. But would Longao agree? Longao smiled and said, Gongsun He, you can rest assured. Even if we are not friends, we will not be enemies. I did not come to the third plane with any other intentions. Chapter 25:12. He seemed to want to say more, but in the end, he held himself back. What else could he say? The meaning behind Longao's words was very clear. They were neither friends nor enemies. Longao couldn't be blamed for this. When Longao had been hunted down by Jing and the others, at the moment of life and death, he, as Longao's friend, hadn't helped. Instead, he had chosen to stand by and watch. If he were in Longao's shoes, he probably would have done the same. He didn't ask. Because Gongsun He knew very well that now that Longao had stepped into the third plane, he definitely wouldn't attack the Empire. The Third Cosmic Empire. Within a grand hall. Ancestor, there's something I don't understand. I don't know if I should say it. Speak. As the Emperor of the Third Cosmic Empire, Gongsun Ao was probably the only person in the Empire who dared speak to Gongsun He in such a manner. Ancestor, although Longao is a genius and has developed rapidly in recent years, he hasn't reached the point of reversing the universe. Gongsun He didn't speak. He just listened quietly. Ancestor, I can understand why you think so highly of him. But now, Longao is clearly doing this on purpose, yet you're still doing this. Isn't that a bit too much? Gongsun Ao couldn't figure out why the ancestor thought so highly of Longao. Longao was a ruler of the universe. Definitely not. Gongsun He said helplessly, my intuition tells me that Longao is definitely not simple. Perhaps he can change the structure of the universe. We miscalculated before. What a pity, what a pity. First, it was a pity that they hadn't established a good relationship with Longao. Second, it was a pity that they hadn't succeeded in killing Long Ming and devouring the Chaos Steely. Now, it was too late to regret. He was a bit shocked. Gongsun Ao didn't believe the ancestor, because he felt it was a bit ridiculous. Could Long Ao change the structure of the universe by himself? If there were 12 rulers of the universe, then there wouldn't be any problem. Apart from them, even 9 half-rulers might not be able to accomplish this. How could Gongsun he not know what Gongsun Ao was thinking? He didn't explain. This time, Longao did not step into the third positional plane to deal with the third Starry Sky Empire. Even if he and Gongsun he were not friends, they were definitely not enemies. The reason why he stepped into the third realm was because of Yun Qian's words. Longao's intuition told him that Yun Qian had absolutely no malice towards him. Previously, when Yun Qian followed Longao, she once said that the third Starry Sky Empire, one of the 9 great Starry Sky Empires, had a secret that very few people knew about. The secret was that there was a hidden cave abode in the third plane, and there was a treasure hidden in the cave abode. Yun Qian did not say what this treasure was. However, Yun Qian said that this treasure would bring indescribable benefits to her and the empire. Longao shook his head helplessly. He didn't know what was wrong with him. Yun Qian's words made him come. Since he was already here, he might as well take things as they came. According to the location given by Yun Qian, Longao quickly found the so-called mysterious Immortal's Cave. There was no one around, only the whistling of the wind could be heard. Longao passed through the passage and smoothly entered the cave abode. On the huge stone door, there were 2 strange patterns engraved. He tried to push the stone door. Originally, he thought that it would not be easy for him to enter the cave. However, Longao did not expect that the stone door would be opened just like that when he tried to push it. Wasn't it a bit too simple? Since things had come to this point, Longao did not choose to give up. Instead, he stepped into the cave abode. Poochie. As soon as Longao stepped into the cave abode, he heard laughter. He was very curious as to why there was laughter coming from the cave abode. Was there someone in the cave abode? At a glance, there was no one in the huge cave abode. Longao certainly did not think that there was something wrong with his ears. However, there was indeed no one in the cave. He could not even sense the aura. Could it be that he heard wrong? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Who is it? Sneaky. We have only been away for less than 3 years and you don't recognize me? Yun Qian? Longao was simply too familiar with Yun Qian's voice. In an instant, he had already figured out what was going on. If there was no accident, the cave abode must be Yun Qian's plan. As for the purpose, it was still unknown. At this moment, a beautiful figure appeared out of thin air. Looking at Longao in front of her, she said with a smile, "Longao, we haven't seen each other for 3 years. Did you miss me?" Longao was not afraid of fighting with experts, but he was afraid of this. He always felt that Yun Qian had another purpose for him. Could it be because of Kang Lin? Yun Qian, if I'm not mistaken, the reason why you've been trying to get close to me again and again is because of the white-clothed girl who appeared before. I'll be honest with you. What happened before was indeed my doing. However, I didn't manage to keep the white-clothed girl. She has already left. At this point, Longao did not continue to speak. However, the meaning of his words was very clear. As for why Longao admitted it, the reason was actually very simple. Anyway, Yun Qian must be 100% sure that this matter was done by him. If that was the case, why should he continue to hide it? Anyway, the white-robed girl was no longer following him. As for how Yun Qian knew about this matter, Longao did not ask. Because he knew that if Yun Qian wanted to say it, then there was no need for him to ask. He believed that Yun Qian would say it. If Yun Qian did not want to say it, then no matter how he asked, Yun Qian would not say it. In that case, why should he waste his time? I believe you. Since you have said so, I will also tell you a few words of truth. The reason why I came to you before was indeed because of the white-robed girl. As for what the white-robed girl means, I believe there is no need for me to say more. You should know better than me. Of course, Longao knew what the white-robed girl meant, but he did not say anything. He just listened quietly. He also wanted to hear what Yun Qian was going to say next. Yun Qian did not care and said, "But since I saw you for the first time, I did fall in love with you at first sight. whether you believe it or not. Longao certainly did not believe it, but he still did not say anything. Longao, now you want to ask, what do you feel about me? What do you mean, what do you feel about me? Longao asked even though he already knew the answer. Of course, he knew what Yun Chen meant. Yun Chen did not have the slightest anger. She smiled and said, Longao, I am asking you, do you like me? No. Without the slightest hesitation, Longao really did not like Yun Chen in his heart. Because in the vast starry sky, there were too many beautiful women. If this was the case, then the woman he liked was too big. Chapter 25:13. When she heard Longao's answer, Yun Chen's expression changed. It was fleeting. Longao, of course, noticed the fleeting expression on Yun Chen's face and was very surprised. Could it be that what Yun Chen said was true? It seemed a little ridiculous. Even now, he still couldn't believe that Yun Chen had really fallen in love with him at first sight. Miss Yun Chen, why did you trick me into coming here? Yun Chen smiled. It doesn't matter if you don't like it. You just have to remember that I like you. In the future, I will make you slowly fall in love with me, until death do us part. There was no answer. Longao didn't know how to answer. She didn't seem to continue to dwell on this issue. Yun Chen looked around the cave and said, Longao, do you know why I asked you to come here? He shook his head. How could he know? He was also very curious as to why Yun Chen would trick him into coming here for no reason. This cave was left behind by a starry sky ruler. A starry sky ruler? Longao certainly knew what a starry sky ruler meant. He looked around the cave and never imagined that this cave was left behind by a starry sky ruler. However, even if it was left behind by a starry sky ruler, it didn't seem to be of much use. A starry sky ruler was very powerful, but it didn't mean that the things left behind by a starry sky ruler were necessarily powerful. Seeing that Longao didn't speak, Yun Chen could already guess what Longao was thinking. The owner of this cave is called Sage Feng Lei. Countless years ago, he also dominated the universe and was one of the strongest starry sky rulers. Countless years ago? Longao was very curious. He knew that countless years ago, Master God Diviner and the others had acquired the primal chaos stone steles and become the starry sky sovereign. If there were other starry sky sovereigns, how could Master God Diviner and the others not know about them? Even if Master Godly Mathematician didn't tell him, would Xiling hide it from him? Yun Chen, what's going on? Yun Chen certainly knew what Longao was asking. I'm afraid even Master Godly Mathematician and the others don't know about this. Yun Chen smiled and said, in the vast universe, there was an era called the Primal Chaos Era. In that era, there were many rulers of the universe, and there were many who controlled the Primal Chaos Stones. Longao didn't say anything because he knew that the secret Yun Chen was talking about was probably the biggest secret in the vast universe. As for Master God Diviner and the others, that was a matter of countless years ago. Back then, virtually all of the rulers of the starry sky had perished. So that was the case. Longao suppressed the shock in his heart and appeared very calm. Longao, in fact, there is a great secret in the vast universe, but I can't tell you. This is the secret of our race. Once you become my husband, I will tell you. Longao did not answer. What's up with the Primal Chaos Stone tablets? The matter of the Primal Chaos tablets is also a secret. It was another secret. Longao's intuition told him that the Primal Chaos tablets weren't as simple as they seemed. Where did they come from? How many Primal Chaos tablets were there? Everything was a mystery. Even the 12 rulers of the stars, including Master God Diviner, didn't know what the Chaos Stone tablets were, let alone anyone else. If what Yun Chen said was true, and it spread to the vast starry sky, the entire starry sky would be shaken. Yun Chen, since you know so much, is there anyone in your race who can devour Primal Chaos tablets? Even now, Longao still didn't know the origins of Yun Chen's race. However, there was no doubt that her race was not simple. Otherwise, she wouldn't know so much and have boasted that she could fight 9 of the universe empires alone. Yun Chen shook her head again. Her meaning was clear. Since this was the case, Longao didn't ask any more questions. He knew that even if he asked, Yun Chen wouldn't answer him. Yun Chen, get to the point. Why did you ask me to come here this time? Longao still couldn't figure it out. Even if this cave was left behind by the ruler of the universe, it didn't seem to have anything to do with him. Venerable Feng Lei has fallen and the primal chaos tablets are missing. However, the primal chaos power left behind by Venerable Feng Lei has gathered in this cave. Longao didn't speak. He found a place to sit down. Yun Chen also sat down. According to the information I received, Venerable Feng Lei was not only a powerful ruler of the universe, but also a powerful array master. He used arrays to trap the primal chaos power he left behind. Yun Chen's words had already reached this point. If Longao still didn't understand, then he was really a fool. Arrays. Longao was almost certain that Venerable Feng Lei was a powerful array master. If that was the case, even if he was an array master, it would be difficult for him to break the array and obtain the primal chaos power. Longao was very clear about Yun Chen's meaning. What did Yun Chen mean? Longao knew very well what Venerable Feng Lei and the primal chaos power meant. If it were anyone else, they would definitely take it for themselves. How could they take it out so casually? Longao, I know what you're thinking. I've already said that I fell in love with you at first sight. This cave dwelling is my gift to you. Later on, I'll help you break the formation and obtain the primal chaos energy within the cave dwelling. This way, it'll be beneficial for you to devour the primal chaos stone tablet. Devour the primal chaos tablets? Did Yun Chen mean that she already knew that he had devoured the primal chaos tablets? If that was the case, Longao couldn't figure it out. He really didn't know how Yun Chen knew that he had obtained the primal chaos tablets. Yun Chen, what do you mean? I don't understand. Yun Chen smiled and said, 200 years ago, the vast starry sky descended into the primal chaos plane. There were 12 primal chaos tablets. If I'm not wrong, the 12 primal chaos tablets shouldn't be scattered everywhere. Instead, you obtained them all. Am I right? Longao was a little dumbfounded. He could almost assert that since Yun Chen had already said so, he believed that she must be confident. Besides his own family, no one knew about this matter, including the divine mathematician and others. How could his family have leaked this? It was complete nonsense. In any case, he absolutely didn't believe it. Since it wasn't his family who leaked this, then this matter was done in such a secretive manner. Longao couldn't figure out how Yun Chen knew. Could it be that Yun Chen was like the oracle and could calculate anything? This was a little unlikely. How did Yun Chen know about this? Chapter 25:14. Longao, if you don't speak, it means that you admit it. Longao did not admit it, nor did he deny it. Don't worry, if I want to leak this matter, I won't tell you. Longao was very clear about this point. If Yun Chen wanted to harm him, then there was no need to talk nonsense with him. As long as it spread out, people would definitely believe it. Yun Chen, what do you mean? My meaning is very simple. I hope you can get the power of chaos and use it to refine the chaos tablet and get the power of chaos in the tablet. In this way, you can become the supreme expert of the vast starry sky. Was Yun Chen really so kind? Longao still didn't quite believe it. Did Yun Chen have another purpose? He couldn't figure it out. Well, let's think of a way to break the array. He nodded. Although he still didn't quite believe Yun Chen's purpose, what else could he say since Yun Chen was already like this? He couldn't measure the heart of a gentleman with the yardstick of a villain. As a starry sky immortal array master, Longao's array skills had almost reached the peak. He was only one step away from the ultimate starry sky immortal array master. He calmed down and began to sense. A few hours later, Longao let out a deep sigh and helplessly looked at the cave residents around him. What's wrong? Yun Chen certainly knew that Longao was an array master, Because Longao was an array master, it was no secret in the vast starry sky. With my array skills, I can't break the array of this cave mansion. Longao could almost be sure that even an ultimate starry sky immortal array master couldn't break the array set up by Daoist Fenglei, let alone himself. There was no doubt about it. Daoist Fenglei's array skills were absolutely terrifying. Without the slightest surprise, Yun Qian had already guessed that it would be strange if Longao could easily break the array set up by Daoist Fenglei. Longao, since Daoist Fenglei left behind the power of chaos, according to my guess, if there is no accident, Daoist Fenglei wants to find an inheritor for himself. He nodded in agreement. Longao agreed with Yun Qian's guess. If Daoist Master Fenglei didn't want to find an inheritor for himself, he didn't need to set up a formation to trap the power of chaos. Unless he had nothing better to do. What should he do? If he couldn't break the formation left behind by Venerable Windthunder, then it would be impossible for him to obtain the primal chaos force. In that case, it would be useless for him to stay here. Just as Longao was about to say that he was going to leave, Longao, I have a way to break the formation, but according to my father, it will be very dangerous. Are you willing to give it a try? Yun Qian's father was definitely not simple. After all, to be able to turn Yun Qian into a starry sky immortal in such a short time, in addition to Yun Qian's own extraordinary talent, the power behind Yun Qian must have played an indelible role. What kind of danger will there be? I don't know. Choose to try. Or choose to give up. Yun Qian didn't continue to say anything, but stared at Longao, as if waiting for him to make a decision. Without any hesitation, Longao said with a smile, I, Longao, have experienced countless life and death situations and encountered countless dangers over the years, so I have taken a step back. This time is no exception. I choose to give it a try, but you don't have to stay and take risks with me. It's better for you to leave first. Hearing this, Yun Qian breathed a sigh of relief. Although she was also very afraid of danger, she still hoped that Longao could choose to give it a try, because the person she liked should not be a coward, but a person who moved forward bravely. Yun Qian said firmly, I won't leave. These 5 simple words were said with exceptional firmness. Longao couldn't figure it out. Yun Qian and he just met by chance. Why was she willing to take the risk with him? Yun Qian, what should I do to break the formation? If it was anything else, it would be fine, but primal chaos force was something Longao couldn't resist. This was because Longao knew very well that if he could obtain primal chaos force, then not only him, but even his family members who had obtained the primal chaos stone tablet would be able to use primal chaos force and control the primal chaos force within the primal chaos stone tablet. In fact, even now, Longao was not sure if he and his family would be able to use primal chaos force to control the primal chaos stone tablet. Whether or not they succeeded, they had to try first. Yun Qian's method was actually very simple. She took out a treasure from her bosom and directly released it. In just a few short seconds, the formation in the dwelling had been triggered. Before the two of them could even react, rumbling sounds had already resounded throughout the dwelling. Let's go. As a formation master, Longao naturally knew what was going on. The formation had been triggered. It turned out that there was a formation within a formation. Yun Qian had only used a treasure to trigger the formation. It was basically impossible for the two of them to completely break through the formation. If they didn't leave now, they probably wouldn't be able to leave later. Let's go together. Originally, Yun Qian had a chance to leave because Longao was blocking outside. But in the end, Yun Qian didn't even have the slightest intention of leaving. This time, Longao was completely enraged. He said furiously, hurry up and leave. Do you want to die here too? Yun Qian was naturally afraid of death, but it also depended on the situation. Just based on the current situation, Yun Qian really did like Longao. Otherwise, she wouldn't have stayed in such a life and death situation. Longao had actually already thought of this point. He was very surprised. Of course, he didn't believe in love at first sight, but he definitely couldn't accept this feeling. The situation was critical. Seeing that Yun Qian wasn't leaving, Longao had no choice but to pull Yun Chen to his side. "You're still smiling?" Seeing that Yun Chen wasn't nervous at all and was instead smiling at him, Longao was very depressed. He didn't know if Yun Chen's brain was flooded with water. "Longao, do you know? Since I was young, there have been too many men who liked me, but I didn't like any of them. This time, I came to find you mainly because of the white-clothed girl. But I didn't expect that I would first hear about your legend, then see you in person. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I fell in love with you at first sight. I like you so much. Do you believe in love at first sight?" Longao didn't speak. His hands moved together, resisting the attacks of the formation with all his strength. Yun Chen wasn't angry. Instead, she said with a smile, "Longao, if we can leave here alive this time, can you consider accepting me? Let's leave first." Longao was completely defeated by Yun Chen. What kind of situation was this? She was still in the mood to talk about this. Chapter 25:15. It was depressing. Longao did not know what was going on in Yun Chen's mind. What sort of situation was this? At this moment of life and death, the slightest bit of carelessness would cause them to fall into a state of eternal damnation. Yun Chen did not say anything more. The entire formation had not been activated yet. Otherwise, the power of the attack would have increased by tens of times. If that were to happen, whether or not the both of them would be able to defend against it was still an unknown. But even so, both of them knew the severity of the situation. The longer they dragged it out, the more disadvantageous it would be for them. "Longao, what should we do now?" "Advance as a form of retreat." Longao did not like to retreat. He would always take the initiative to strike. Pulling Yun Chen along, the chaos axe in Longao's right hand slammed down towards the center of the cave. Boom, boom, boom. One after another, it smashed down continuously, and the entire cave began to tremble violently. Of course, Yun Chen wanted to help Longao as well. However, she was extremely shocked. Even though she had heard many legends about Longao, this was the first time she was witnessing the true strength of Longao. Was this the strength that a legend should have? In fact, Yun Chen had a feeling that if the current Longao were to fight to the death, even a pinnacle starry sky immortal being would not be a match for Longao. After a few hundred consecutive slashes of the axe, cracks began to appear in the cave. Not only did they not break through the formation, they even activated it. Both of them were completely stunned. At this moment, it could be said that it was a moment of life and death. Longao was very calm because he knew very well that the more it was at this moment, the more he had to be calm. Otherwise, forget about obtaining the chaotic energy, the two of them might even die here. Chaos 9 axes, first axe, Hell Devour. Initially, Longao did not want to use the Chaos 9 axes so casually. But now that the situation was so dire, if he did not settle this quickly, both of them would be in deep trouble. After Hell Devour, the formation of the entire cave disappeared. Broken. Towards this outcome, Longao was not surprised in the slightest. This was because Longao had already guessed that Venerable Fenglei had left behind the chaotic power because he wanted to find his successor. Otherwise, why would he go through so much trouble? From this, it could be deduced that the formation set up by Venerable Fenglei was only a picture of order, and it was not as powerful as it seemed on the surface. The cave abode had been completely refurbished. The size of the cave had not changed in the slightest. However, there was an indescribable feeling in the cave. What about primal chaos? Yun Chen was very curious. The array formation had been broken, but there was no primal chaos energy. In fact, Yun Chen was not completely confident that the primal chaos force existed in the cave abode. This cave was discovered by his father many years ago, but he was unable to break the formation. He did not want others to know about it, so he gave it to Yun Chen. You could say that. In the entire vast starry sky, perhaps only Yun Lu and Yun Chen knew about this place. If Yun Lu knew about this, who knew what Yun Lu would think? His own daughter actually gave the cave to Longao. It would be fine if it was something else, but the primal chaos force was no small matter. It was something that everyone dreamed of, including the 12 rulers of the starry sky. As the saying went, love could conquer everything. Longao was also very curious. Logically speaking, since the array formation had been broken, the primal chaos force should have appeared. However, the entire cave abode was empty. There was not even a trace of the primal chaos force. Yun Qian, I have something to tell you. As for the primal chaos force, let's look for it later. What do you think? I have no problem with that. The two found a place to sit down. Longao, what do you want to talk to me about? Looking at Longao's serious face, Yun Qian also put away her usual mischievous and playful smile, and became serious as well. Yun Qian did not know what Longao wanted to talk to her about. Yun Qian, no matter what, you and I have just experienced life and death. Even if we are not friends, we are definitely not enemies. I just want to ask you one thing. Why do you keep staring at me? Until now, Longao still did not believe that Yun Qian had fallen in love with him at first sight. He could not feel at ease if he did not understand this question. Was she a friend or a foe? Yun Qian seemed to be particularly serious this time. She said, I can make a blood oath. No need. It was too late. Before Longao could react, Yun Qian had already begun to swear the blood oath. Just as Yun Qian had said before, she had gone to look for Longao because of the white-clothed girl and the various secrets on Longao's body, as well as various kinds of curiosity. However, after seeing Longao, the situation was completely different. Love at first sight was something that no one could explain. Sometimes, when feelings came, they could not be stopped. Yun Qian had already made a blood oath. Things had already come to this. If he still did not believe it, then he would be a little too shameless. However, even if he believed it, what could he do? It was almost impossible between him and Yun Qian. He said helplessly, Yun Qian, we do not know each other. Thank you for your favor. To be honest, it is impossible between us. After leaving here, you go your way and I go mine. How about it? He shook his head. Yun Qian said seriously, Longao, I have already said this before. It is my business that I like you. It is your business that you don't like me. I will make you like me. As for going our own ways, that is impossible. Although he didn't know much about Yun Qian's character, after these few dealings, Longao knew in his heart that Yun Qian didn't seem to change her mind. If that was the case, then wouldn't Yun Qian keep troubling him? Longao, why don't you try to accept me? Let's look for the primal chaos force. Longao was really scared. He immediately stood up and began to look for the primal chaos force again. At a glance, he could see the surroundings of the cave at a glance. Moreover, he could not sense the aura of the primal chaos force. If that was the case, wouldn't it be a waste of time? He almost lost his life just now. What was going on? Longao, why don't you and I join hands? What do you mean? Longao was very clear about his and Yun Qian's strength. Even if they joined hands, they might not be able to sense the primal chaos force in the cave. Moreover, Longao was a little doubtful whether the primal chaos force existed in this cave. Moreover, even Yun Qian was not completely sure. Longao, I have a cultivation technique. If we can practice it together, not only can we improve our strength rapidly, we can even reproduce some supernatural powers. Practice together? Without even thinking about it, Longao rejected, Yun Qian, I appreciate your good intentions, but the matter of us cultivating together, I think it's better to forget about it. Chapter 25:16. If he were to train with Yun Qian, he would definitely be entangled with her in the future. Longao, we don't have any other ideas other than this. Really? Longao did not believe her at all. He did not say anything more and started to sense it again. In the blink of an eye, 3 months passed by. Longao was still unable to sense the power of chaos. If he were to give up just like that, he would not be satisfied. Longao, you should know the situation now. The longer we delay, the worse it will be for us. How could Longao not know what Yun Chen was worried about? This was the third plane after all. If Gong Sun he were to find out, even if he was not afraid of Gong Sun he would still be in trouble. All right. Hearing that Longao had finally agreed, Yun Chen's heart was filled with joy. Longao, this skill is a secret of our race. We must not let outsiders know about it. This skill does not have a name. It was obtained by our ancestor by accident. Nodding his head, Longao did not say anything. He did not know what to say at this moment. It was still the same sentence. If it was anything else, he definitely wouldn't agree. However, chaotic force was just too important to him. If he could successfully obtain chaotic force, then not only himself, but even his family might be able to borrow chaotic force to refine the chaotic stone tablet. Thinking about it, he was still unwilling to give up. There was only one way to not give up. That was to follow Yun Chen's instructions and cultivate this mysterious skill together. Try sensing it. Not long after, Longao sensed a cultivation method from the information that Yun Chen sent over. Even if he had not cultivated it yet, he could sense the strength of this cultivation method. If he used it alone, it would be useless. If the two of them were to work together, it would be a completely different concept. If he wanted to cultivate, he would cultivate. In order to sense the power of chaos earlier, Longao and Yun Chen started cultivating immediately. Because of this, the two of them could not help but feel a little, it was strange. The race behind Yun Chen, Yun Lu, had used many people to cultivate this skill. However, they had never succeeded. For hundreds of thousands of years, there had never been a man or woman who succeeded. But now, Longao and Yun Chen had only cultivated for less than 6 hours, and the two of them had already succeeded. Whether it was Yun Chen or Longao, their cultivation did not improve. He stood in place. However, the two of them were extremely confident. If the two of them were to join forces and use this cultivation technique, then their strength would definitely double. What kind of concept was that? In other words, if the two joined forces, their power was enough to kill a peak starry sky undying, which was enough to shake the entire universe. He didn't know if anyone had successfully cultivated this cultivation method before. In any case, in the vast starry sky, there were probably only 2 people who had successfully cultivated it. Let's try and see if we can sense it. He nodded. The two of them released their auras at the same time. The 2 auras were like 2 dragons, fiercely entangling each other. I sensed it. Having successfully sensed it, the 2 of them lit up in delight. After successfully finding a breakthrough, the 2 of them found what they were looking for. It turned out that the power of chaos was inside the grotto mansion. Only, it was enveloped by a layer of energy. If it were not for the fact that they were cultivating this mysterious cultivation technique, they would not have been able to find it. The cave changed again. It was still the same cave, but the things inside were different. Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Looking at the black stone tablet before them, the 2 of them spoke in unison. That's right. The stone tablet floating before them was the strongest starry sky god tool in the vast starry sky. It was also the primal chaos stone tablet that everyone dreamed of obtaining. This cave was left behind by Thunder Wind Master. Hence, without a doubt, the primal chaos stone tablet before them was the Thunder Wind primal chaos stone tablet. Of the 12 primal chaos stone tablets he obtained before, there seemed to be a lightning primal chaos stone tablet and a wind and cloud primal chaos stone tablet. This wind and thunder primal chaos stone tablet was a completely new type of primal chaos stone tablet. Seems like I guessed correctly. Back then, Thunder Wind Master not only left behind primal chaos energy, he even left behind the Thunder Wind primal chaos stone tablet. Yun Chen, this belongs to you in the first place. Go and devour the chaos stele of wind and lightning. I believe that if nothing unexpected happens, you will successfully control the chaos force within the chaos stele and become a supreme existence above the starry sky ruler. This is yours. I don't want it. Hearing Yun Chen's words, Longao was somewhat moved. Because he knew what the primal chaos stone tablet meant. Yun Chen also knew. If it were anyone else, not to mention not wanting it, they would have already taken it. For the primal chaos stone tablet, they would even risk their lives. With the current situation and the blood oath from before, Longao didn't have the slightest bit of doubt. It seemed that Yun Qian really did fall in love with him at first sight. The more this was the case, the more he couldn't take a wrong step. Because Longao didn't want to harm Yun Qian. Yun Qian, listen to me first. If you really want what's best for me, then devour the Thunder Wind Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. If you don't want to, then from now on, we can't even be friends. Before Yun Qian could speak, Longao continued, I, Longao, am a man of my word. If you don't believe me, you can try. Yun Qian's expression changed again because she didn't think that after seeing the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, Longao wouldn't take it himself. Instead, he wanted her to devour it. As for the matter of Longao obtaining 12 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets, she only guessed. She didn't know. In fact, Yun Qian didn't believe that Longao could obtain 12 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets at the same time. If he could obtain even one Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, it would be a great fortune amidst misfortune. Helpless, Yun Qian didn't continue to refuse because she was really afraid that Longao would ignore her in the future. If that was really the case, she wouldn't even have any hope left. Arriving before the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, Yun Qian directly began to devour it. Fortunately, she didn't encounter any obstruction. In a short while, she had successfully devoured the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. You obtained Sage Wind Thunder's inheritance. Longao was very clear in his heart that this Primal Chaos Stone Tablet was different from the previous ones. This was left behind by Venerable Zephyr Thunder. If there was no accident, when Yun Qian devoured the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, she must have obtained Venerable Zephyr Thunder's inheritance, including cultivation methods, martial skills, etc. Nodding, Yun Qian smiled and said, just as you guessed, from now on, I am Sage Wind Thunder's inheritor. Refining this Primal Chaos Stone Tablet will be easier for me than others. If nothing unexpected happens, when I refine the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, I might be able to obtain the Primal Chaos energy within it. Hearing this, Longao was overjoyed. He was truly happy for Yun Qian. Chapter 25:17. Longao, I have a new understanding of you. What understanding? I'm not telling you. Longao smiled helplessly. Although he couldn't accept Yun Qian, Longao liked her personality. There was no problem in becoming friends with her. Now that Yun Qian had successfully devoured the Chaos Wind Lightning Tablet, he believed that she would become the ruler of space in the future. Longao, I have some matters to attend to, so I can't find you. But you must promise me that nothing will happen to you. Longao couldn't stand Yun Qian's concern. He just nodded. Yun Qian and Longao immediately built a cave residence and then parted ways, each going their own way. Qian. Not long after she left, Yun Qian happened to run into her father and two elders from her clan. Father. Like a little girl who had done something wrong, Yun Qian lowered her head. Of course she knew what the cave meant. It was the clan's greatest secret. For so many years, her father and the two elders hadn't told anyone except her. Even if her father loved her, she seemed to have gone a little too far this time. And the result? Yun Lu only smiled. If Longao dared to devour the Chaos Wind Lightning Tablet, he would be dead by now. Hearing her father's words, Yun Qian jumped in fright. She knew her father's personality well. If he could say it, then she believed he could do it. Father, Longao didn't devour the Chaos Wind Lightning Tablet. The two elders behind Yun Lu were shocked. They never would have thought that Longao wouldn't be moved by the legendary Chaos Wind Lightning Tablet and even let Yun Qian devour it. If Longao liked Qian, then letting her devour the Chaos Wind Lightning Tablet was understandable. But the result? Longao didn't like Qian at all. If that was the case, then Longao gave her the Chaos Wind Lightning Tablet. Qian, what's going on? Father, I don't know either. Yun Qian really didn't know, because even now, she still couldn't figure out why Longao wasn't willing to devour the Chaos Stone Tablets. After all, the Chaos Stone Tablets weren't like other things. Once one refined the Chaos Stone Tablets, they would definitely become a ruler of the universe in the future. As for Yunlu's group of 3, they'd similarly never imagined that after so many years of being unable to break through the formation of the abode and obtain the chaotic wind lightning stele, it would instead be obtained by Longao. It seemed that Longao was not a simple person. Forget it, this matter ends here. Longao is not bad. If it was in the past and Yunlu said this, the 2 elders would definitely not take it seriously. But now, the situation was completely different. Even to a powerful race, the significance of the wind and lightning primal chaos stone tablet was simply too great. The 3 of them suppressed their joy and excitement because they knew very well that if Qian'er could really become the ruler of stars and master chaotic force, no one in the entire universe would be able to contend against their clan. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became. Qian'er, from now on, focus on refining the chaotic wind and lightning stone tablet in your body. Don't go anywhere. Yun Qian was anxious now. Father, I can promise you that I will work hard to refine the chaotic wind and lightning stone tablet in my body and become the ruler of stars in the future. But you must promise me that you will never let me go into seclusion. What a joke. Yun Qian was no fool, of course she knew what her father meant. But no matter who it was, she believed that no matter who it was, they would go into seclusion to refine the tablet. Because once they became the ruler of stars, they would be able to move unhindered in the vast universe and lead their clan to rise rapidly. If it was before, Yun Qian wouldn't have any problems. Whether it was for herself or for the clan, she would do so. But now, she absolutely couldn't do so. Qian'er. Not giving Yunlu a chance to speak, Yun Qian continued, Father, after this matter is resolved, I will go find Longao. I've already said that I am in charge of my own happiness. If you stop me, I would rather not refine the chaotic wind and lightning stone tablet. Young miss, don't be rash. Young miss, the clan leader is doing this for your own good and for the clan. She waved her hand. Yunlu stopped the 2 elders from continuing. Sighing deeply, he said helplessly, since that's the case, Father will go along with you. But Father will still say the same thing. Whether or not Longao can marry you will depend on his ability. Thank you, Father. The spirit stone transmitted. Clan leader, are you really going to marry the young miss to Longao? Now that the young miss had successfully refined the chaotic wind and lightning stone tablet and received the inheritance of sage wind and lightning, the young miss was the hope of the clan. How could she marry an outsider? When the time came, the entire clan wouldn't be willing. How could Yunlu not know what the 2 elders were worried about? But he knew his daughter's personality all too well. For so many years, his daughter had never treated a man like this. Longao was the first. Thus, he was certain that his daughter really liked this man. If he forcibly separated the 2 of them, then things might backfire on him. Thinking of this, Yunlu transmitted with his spiritual sense, we'll talk about this later. Right now, the most important thing is to settle that matter. Once Qian'er successfully refines the primal chaos tablet and becomes the ruler of the universe, if Longao really has the ability, then I'll marry Qian'er to him. Clan leader, what if the rest of the clan objects? The 2 elders naturally knew what the clan leader meant. Just for the chaotic wind and lightning stone tablet, they were already very grateful to Longao. Ordinary people wouldn't do such a thing. When Qian'er becomes the ruler of the universe, no matter who dares object, will kill them without mercy. Only by slaughtering could one intimidate others. Things had already come to this. Although the 2 elders didn't quite agree, they didn't know what to say. As the clan leader said, once the young miss became the ruler of the universe, no one would be able to stop her even if they dared. After leaving the cave, Longao prepared to leave the 3rd plane. Although he and Gongsun he couldn't be friends, they were definitely not enemies. As long as Gongsun he didn't provoke him, Longao wouldn't provoke him either. No matter what, Gongsun he was still a half-step ruler of the universe. His strength was there for all to see. But in the end, it was unknown who leaked the information. Apart from Gongsun He, the other 8 half-step starry sky rulers, Bai Jing, Zhu Geming, Xiafeng, Zhu Bolai, Lu Mu, Kong Shao, Fang Buping, and Wei Bujing all arrived and successfully blocked Longao's path. Chapter 25:18. The 8 half-step starry sky rulers surrounded Longao in 8 different directions. The 8 of them chose to join forces for the sake of their common interests. Bai Jing sneered. Longao, hand over everything you have and we'll let you die a quick death. Otherwise, not only you, but even the empire behind you will be destroyed with you. The 8 of them could kill almost anyone apart from the starry sky rulers. The 8 of them were very confident about this. But would Longao care? If it were anyone else facing 8 half-step starry sky rulers at the same time, they would have been scared out of their wits. Only Longao was not afraid of anything. He didn't even fear starry sky rulers, let alone half-step starry sky rulers. Longao smiled, his face full of indifference. Bai Jing seemed to have seen Longao's arrogance and wasn't surprised. The other 7, on the other hand, were shocked because they couldn't figure out what gave Longao so much confidence that he dared to be so arrogant. Not caring meant that he was ignoring them. Ignoring them meant that he didn't take them seriously. The ancestor of the 7th Starry Sky Empire, young Master Kong, sneered contemptuously. Longao, you're just relying on your Starry Sky divine weapon. Do you dare to fight us fair and square? Contempt. The 8 of them were looking at him with contempt. They were trying to provoke Longao, hoping that he would fall for it. Because the 7 of them had heard from Bai Jing about the Starry Sky Divine tool on Longao's body. Even Bai Jing couldn't lock on to this Starry Sky Divine tool. Just thinking about it made them realize how powerful this Starry Sky Divine tool was. Bai Jing was the strongest among the 9, yet even she couldn't lock on to the Starry Sky Divine weapon, let alone them. How could Longao not know what the 8 of them were trying to do? Although he had successfully cultivated the first axe of the Primal Chaos 9 axes, it was still a little difficult to kill a peak Starry Sky Immortal, let alone one against 9. Regarding his own strength, Longao still had self-awareness. Are you afraid? The 8 of you want to fight me together? With 8 against 1, even if the 8 of them won, they would still lose face. However, given the current situation, the 8 of them could no longer care about anything else. As long as they could successfully kill off Longao and seize the treasures on Longao's body, they could afford to lose face. Bai Jing definitely wanted to kill Longao. However, the other 7 only hoped to obtain the treasures on Longao's body. As for Longao's life or death, they didn't care at all. Bai Jing said directly, "You can pick anyone. As long as you can win, we will let you go." Shameless. With the identity of the 8 of them, the words they said and the things they did could already be considered extremely shameless. It was precisely because they felt that the 8 of them had done something wrong that the 8 of them did not bring anyone with them this time. Instead, they came alone. Once Longao is killed, the news must be sealed immediately. As long as the news was not leaked, there was no such thing as losing face. Bai Jing, why don't you fight me? Okay. Bai Jing had already guessed that Longao would definitely choose him, so he agreed without the slightest hesitation. In his opinion, as long as Longao did not hide in the Starry Sky Divine tool, then not to mention one Longao, even 10,000 Longaos would not be his opponent. Bai Jing, in order not to waste our time, how about we each attack the other with one move? One move to determine the winner. Longao's one move to determine the winner completely shocked the 8 of them. The 8 of them could not figure out what gave Longao the courage to fight Bai Jing in one move. They had seen arrogant people, but they had never seen such an arrogant person. However, it should be known that Bai Jing was the strongest among the 9 half-step Starry Sky Dominators. Longao was only a Starry Sky legend. Unless a miracle happened, he could defeat Bai Jing in one move. Hearing Longao's one move to determine the winner, the 8 of them laughed. Their laughter was filled with endless contempt and contempt. No problem. If you can defeat me in one move, I'll let you go. Longao smiled. With himself as the center, he formed a circle that was neither big nor small. What did this mean? The 8 of them were very curious. They did not know what Longao meant. Why did he draw a circle on the ground for no reason? Bai Jing, you and I each attack the other in the circle. The one who leaves the circle loses. What do you think? So that's how it is. Bai Jing instantly understood Longao's meaning. After all, the difference in strength between the two of them was too big. Longao definitely could not win in one move, but it did not mean that he could not win in one move. However, before Bai Jing could speak, Longao said with a smile, "It doesn't matter if you don't agree. If I want to disappear, I'm afraid none of the 8 of you can stop me." The 8 people's faces were very gloomy, as unsightly as they could be. "Okay, I'll fulfill your wish." Bai Jing sneered. If he did not agree, wouldn't it tell everyone that he was afraid of Longao and did not take Longao seriously at all? In his opinion, the biggest reason why Longao dared to be so arrogant was because he had a heaven-defying starry sky divine artifact. As for his strength, he could not withstand a single blow. Bai Jing did not hesitate at all. She followed the circle that Longao had drawn and drew an identical circle around herself. "Longao, don't say I didn't give you a chance. I'll let you go first." In fact, Bai Jing was just being polite. After all, whoever made the first move would have a better chance. If he made the first move and killed Longao, Longao would not even have a chance to make a move. How could Longao not know Bai Jing's intention? He sneered in his heart. However, he did not hold back. In this situation, he did not have many opportunities. Of course, he had to make the first move. Otherwise, this bet would be meaningless. In that case, I won't hold back. Hearing Longao's impoliteness, the 8 people were a little dumbfounded, especially Bai Jing. He thought Longao would be polite, but he did not expect that Longao would take this opportunity to make a move. In fact, Bai Jing was also very afraid of the starry sky crack. If it was a head-on clash, he would not be afraid. However, he was afraid of such a bet because Longao could break the starry sky crack. Even with his strength, he was very afraid of the starry sky crack. Not to mention him, even a starry sky ruler would not dare to face the starry sky crack head-on. Bai Jing was almost certain that Longao would use the starry sky crack this time. Knowing that Longao would use the starry sky crack, why did Bai Jing agree? The biggest reason was that Bai Jing had asked the other 7 people to seal the space here. With 7 half-step starry sky rulers working together, they did not believe that Longao could break open the starry sky crack. Chapter 25:19. The 7 half-step starry sky rulers joined forces to lock down the space here. Whether Longao could break open the space crack or not, the 8 of them were confident. If he could still break it like this, then Longao was a little too strong. One move to decide the winner. Longao and Bai Jing each stood in their own circle. The two looked at each other and saw endless killing intent and fighting spirit in each other's eyes. They couldn't lose. "Longao, come. End the battle quickly." Bai Jing seemed to be impatient. Anyway, he was sure that Longao couldn't beat him out of the circle in one move. When he attacked, he must succeed. Because Bai Jing knew very well that this was his chance. The primal chaos axe appeared in his hand. Before Longao attacked, Bai Jing said, "Longao, we're attacking with our bare hands, but you're using a divine weapon. Don't you think it's a bit bare hands?" He didn't say bare hands before. How could Longao not know about Bai Jing's worries? Even the 8 of them were wary of his starry sky divine weapon. "Bai Jing, are you afraid?" Just as Bai Jing was about to say something, Kong Shao suddenly said, "Bai Jing, are you afraid of him?" Bai Jing had seen Longao's starry sky divine weapon, but the other 7 hadn't. The 7 of them had always believed that with their cultivation level, ordinary starry sky divine tools were simply useless to them. If Longao's starry sky divine tool was really so powerful, why would he need to waste time here? They believed that he would have already taken action. The 7 of them couldn't wait any longer. They couldn't figure out what would happen even if Longao used a weapon. Bai Jing's heart was extremely depressed. If this continued, he would lose all his face. He gritted his teeth. In the end, Bai Jing nodded and said, "I want to see how you're going to force me out of this circle today." Bai Jing gathered all the energy in his body outside, forming a powerful chi shield. Not only that, in order to ensure that nothing would go wrong, Bai Jing had even used her first secret realm. In other words, if Longao wanted to force Bai Jing out of the circle, he would have to first shake her first secret realm. So far, there were a total of 9 secret realms in the vast starry sky, and each of them had been devoured by 9 different people to become a half-step starry sky ruler. Back then, Bai Jing had devoured the first secret realm, which was why she was called the first half-step starry sky ruler. Bai Jing was very confident in his secret realm. However, he would not use his first secret realm unless he had no other choice. The first secret realm? Longao, who was just about to make his move, suddenly felt an extremely terrifying power being released from the white crystal. He had already sensed Miao Linger's secret realm before, so he wasn't unfamiliar with the aura of the secret realm. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. When they saw Longao's grave expression, Bai Jing and the other 7 people started to laugh maniacally. Unless a starry sky ruler descended, no one would be able to shake a mystic realm. Just based on Longao alone, the 8 of them were almost certain that even Longao wouldn't be able to do it. Seemed like Longao had not expected Bai Jing to use her first secret realm. Longao, weren't you really arrogant earlier on? Why aren't you attacking? Are you afraid? Bai Jing and the others were certain that Longao was afraid. After all, the power of the first secret realm was there for all to see. If Longao couldn't take them down in a single move, they would have to wait for them to strike and activate the power of the first secret realm. By then, how confident would Longao be in defending against them? Lin Fan did not reply. He merely snorted coldly. If it were before, Longao knew that he wouldn't have to attack at all. After all, given his strength, there was no way he could break through the energy shield of the other party's first secret realm. But right now, the situation was different. He had already successfully cultivated the first axe of the Chaos 9 axes, Hell Devouring. Longao was very clear about the power of the Chaos 9 axes. Although it was only the first axe, he believed that he had at least a 30% chance of breaking through the first secret realm. Since things had come to this, he could only give it a try. Holding the Chaos Axe tightly with both hands and taking deep breaths, Longao still did not attack. He was waiting for an opportunity. Looking at Longao's performance, the 8 of them shook their heads in disdain. Indeed, it was better to meet him in person than to hear about him. In the vast starry sky, it was rumored that Longao was extremely arrogant. The 8 of them were full of contempt and mockery, but most of them were contemptuous. Just as Bai Jing was laughing out loud again. At this moment, Longao seized this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and swung the Chaos Axe at Bai Jing. The first axe of the Chaos 9 axes, Hell Devouring. The 7 people in the surroundings, including Bai Jing, were still laughing. However, in an instant, all 8 of their faces changed. They had a feeling that the 8 of them were in hell. What was going on? Bai Jing was completely frightened. But with the help of the first secret realm, he was still full of confidence. He did not believe that Longao could break through his secret realm's air shield. If that was the case, he could just kill himself. Force with force. When Bai Jing came back to his senses, the Hell Devouring was already there. He thought that with the first secret realm, he could completely ignore Lin Fan's attack. But in the end, Bai Jing was completely flustered. This was because he did not know why, but in an instant, he could feel that Longao's attack was not to be underestimated. If he were to fight force with force, he might be able to withstand it. But if something were to happen, he would be completely finished. He did not dare to take the risk. He could not take the risk. This was because Bai Jing knew very well that if he lost the bet, not only would he be betting on whether Longao would leave, but he would also be betting on his own life. Therefore, he could not take the risk this time. At this critical moment, Bai Jing was finally scared. He took a few steps back and was out of the circle. Seeing this situation, the 7 of them were completely dumbfounded. Because before this, they would never have thought that with Longao's strength, he could force Bai Jing to retreat. It was a complete thing. Even if they saw it with their own eyes, they still couldn't believe it. Was this real? There was not the slightest crack in the starry sky within the circle. Longao had controlled his strength very well. Because in this way, even the 8 of them did not know how powerful his move was. Bai Jing stood in place and stared at Longao, who was not far away. His expression changed again and it was extremely cold. This was because until this moment, he still could not believe that he had been defeated and was forced out of the circle by Longao. As for whether the strength of Longao's attack could bring him danger, he would not know until he tried it himself. Chapter 25:20. He had lost. He had lost. He was indignant and unwilling to admit defeat. But the truth was right in front of him. He had no choice but to admit defeat. Goodbye. Longao was clear in his heart that he had gained a huge advantage by forcing Bai Jing out of the circle. If not for Bai Jing's carelessness, he would not have succeeded so easily. One could never be careless in a fight between powerful beings. Longao, you want to leave? Longao said in disdain, don't tell me you guys don't want to admit defeat. They had already agreed that as long as he could defeat Bai Jing in a single move, he could leave. But the result? Kong Shao snorted coldly, extremely displeased in his heart. In the eyes of the 7 of them, the reason why Bai Jing was defeated was because he was scared and coward. He did not even try to fight it head-on. If he had tried to fight it head-on, would Longao have succeeded? That was bullsh*t. But because of Bai Jing's strength, the 7 of them could only grumble in their hearts. They did not dare to say it out loud. Even if they knew that Bai Jing had lost, they could not let Longao leave just like that. An opportunity like this did not come by often. If they missed this chance, who knew when the next one would come? They could not let Longao leave. The old ancestor of the 4th Starry Sky Empire, Xia Feng, sneered and said, Longao, you just used one move against Bai Jing to decide the winner, but you didn't use one move against us, am I right? Shameless. The 7 of them were shameless to the extreme. Even though they did not say it out loud, everyone knew that as long as Longao could defeat Bai Jing, he would win. But for the treasure in Longao's hands, the 7 of them were ready to go all out. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. Longao did not say anything. But the meaning behind his laughter was clear. This was like a few tight slaps on the faces of the 8 of them. It was exceptionally loud. 8 half-step Starry Sky rulers joining forces to act so shamelessly. If this matter were to spread out, the 8 of them would lose all face. The faces of the 8 of them were as ugly as it could get. However, they did not give up. In order to obtain the treasures in Longao's hands, they had long since thrown their faces away. The 8 of you can come at me together. Arrogant. However, Longao did have the right to be arrogant. After all, as a Starry Sky legend, he had forced a half-step Starry Sky ruler to retreat. Longao could be said to be unprecedented. Bai Jing did not speak again. Even if she was unwilling to accept the result, the fact was already decided. The only way now was to kill Longao as soon as possible and completely seal this matter. She could not let it leak out. The 8 of them didn't say anything else. Since he was already shameless, he would continue to be shameless. Right at this moment. The 8 of you, 8 against 1, yet you still act so shamelessly. Don't you think you're going too far? Gongsun he suddenly appeared. After all, this was the 3rd plane, which was Gongsun his territory. Originally, the 7 of them wanted to join forces against Gongsun he, but Bai Jing strongly opposed it. The reason was simple. The alliance between Gongsun he and Longao was not a secret. Although Gongsun he did not save them, no one knew which side Gongsun he was on. In order to make sure nothing went wrong, the 8 of them finally decided to exclude Gongsun he from this matter. However, they did not expect that Gongsun he would suddenly appear and stop them. What should they do then? Gong Sun he was also a half-step starry sky ruler. Even if he could not defeat the 8 of them, it was impossible for them to kill Gong Sun he. This matter could not be delayed. The longer they delayed, the more unfavorable it would be for the 8 of them. Gong Sun he, are you courting death? Ha ha ha, courting death? Let's see who's the one courting death today. Longao seemed a little surprised by Gong Sun his sudden appearance. Even he did not expect that Gong Sun he would appear at this time. He believed that Gong Sun he knew very well what it meant to appear here. As long as the 9 of them did not encounter something like the primal chaos tablet, they would not turn against each other and would live in peace. However, Gong Sun his appearance at this time showed his attitude. He believed that from now on, the 8 of them would join forces to deal with Gong Sun he. It was not worth it for Gong Sun he to do this for himself. Even so, Longao only treated Gong Sun he as a friend at most. As for a close friend, it was almost impossible for him to be friends with someone like Miaoling Er. Longao was almost certain that Gong Sun he only acted because he was not afraid of the 8 of them joining forces. If he encountered the Starry Sky Ruler, he believed that Gong Sun he would choose to close the door and not do anything like last time. However, could Gong Sun he be blamed? In the face of a powerful existence like the Starry Sky Ruler, no one in the vast universe would dare to provoke the Starry Sky Ruler. Gong Sun he, why are you doing this? Gong Sun he smiled and said, Brother Long, what happened before was my fault. However, I have already said that I will definitely become friends with you. This time, Gong Sun he seemed to be exceptionally resolute. The 8 of them had ugly expressions. What they were afraid of really happened. Xia Feng sneered and said coldly, Gong Sun he, don't think that just because you devoured the secret realms that the 8 of us can't do anything to you. Even if we can't kill you, we can still seal you or send you into the cycle of reincarnation. I don't believe that you can defeat the 8 of us alone. The 9 secret realms were actually not that different in strength. Therefore, the 9 of them could not do anything to each other, nor could they kill each other. The most they could do was seal them or send them into the cycle of reincarnation. However, unless it was absolutely necessary, no one was willing to do that. Because once they did that, they would not rest until one of them was dead. If that really happened, then there would only be one outcome. Both sides would suffer. It would not benefit anyone. However, the current situation was completely different. With the 8 of them joining forces, even if they completely fell out with Gong Sun he, the 8 of them would not have the slightest fear. When the time came and Gong Sun he came looking for trouble, the 8 of them could choose to ignore him. Was Gong Sun he really not afraid? Of course not. However, Gong Sun his intuition told him that Longao was definitely not a simple person. If he could become friends with this person, it would definitely be beneficial for him in the future. As for the threat of the 8 of them, of course Gong Sun he was afraid. However, after thinking about it, he chose Longao. Longao did not say anything because he also wanted to see what Gong Sun he would do. The 8 of them joining forces would definitely be strong enough to suppress Gong Sun he. Chapter 25-21. What would Gong Sun he choose? In the 8 people's view, since they had already done this, as long as Gong Sun he wasn't a fool, he would definitely retreat. Gong Sun he, join us. They threw out an olive branch, hoping that Gong Sun he would join them. In the end, unless it was absolutely necessary, the 8 people were absolutely unwilling to completely fall out with Gong Sun he. The 9 people had gradually discovered that if the 12 rulers of the starry sky attacked them one day, then the 9 of them might be able to escape this calamity by working together. Gong Sun his expression changed again and again. Since he had come out, he had already expected this outcome. Even if I die, I'll drag the 8 of you down with me. Gong Sun his meaning was very clear. The 8 people weren't fools. Of course, they understood the meaning of Gong Sun his words. The 8 people's faces were very gloomy because they had never imagined that Gong Sun he would choose to abandon them in the end and choose Longao. Longao smiled. Gong Sun he, I'll make friends with you. Gong Sun he came to Longao's side, looked coldly at the 8 people opposite him, and said, You want to seal me? Let's see what price you'll pay. From the beginning to the end, Longao had never doubted Gongsun He. But the result? Just when Longao wasn't paying attention, Gongsun He suddenly sneered and directly attacked Longao. His speed was so fast that Longao wasn't prepared at all. In addition, he didn't expect that Gongsun He would attack him, so he was hit directly. What did a full-force attack from a half-step ruler of the starry sky mean? There was a loud bang. Longao's body was directly sent flying, like a kite with a broken string. Had he died? Seeing Longao's body fly away, the 8 people were extremely excited. If they had attacked Longao head-on, it would have been really difficult to deal with Longao. In any case, Longao still had a heaven-defying starry sky divine tool. If Longao hid in the starry sky divine tool, they wouldn't be able to do anything. They had thought of this. After a discussion, the 9 people finally came up with the idea of Gongsun His sneak attack. Because if they succeeded, not only would Longao die, but all the treasures and secrets in his hands would also belong to them. Gongsun He didn't agree at first because he was afraid that Longao's treasures would belong to the other 8 people. Gongsun He wouldn't then. After thinking it over and over again, Sun He finally agreed. Gongsun He felt a little guilty, but in the vast starry skies, it was either you die or I die. This sort of thing was just a matter of time. Die. This was without a doubt. But the situation was completely different now. Longao's primal chaos seal, after devouring the power of primal chaos, had already evolved into a primal chaos 9-colored lotus, and had also reproduced 9 lives. Die. Longao had successfully integrated with the chaotic 9-colored lotus. In other words, Longao now had 9 lives. Unless one could destroy the chaotic 9-colored lotus at the same time, Longao would not die. Even so, it was unavoidable for him to be injured after suffering such a heavy blow. Longao endured the pain in his body. Even now, he still felt a lingering fear. Fortunately, he had the 9-colored lotus. Otherwise, he would have died. Gongsun He. Longao's voice was extremely cold, because he really didn't expect that Gongsun He would suddenly attack him. He had just doubted whether it was worth it for Gongsun He to fall out with 8 half-step starry sky rulers for him. But now, it seemed that Gongsun He didn't fall out with the 8 people at all. It was just a trick played by the 9 people. What a shameless sneak attack. Longao didn't die. Seeing Longao stand up again, no matter if it was the 8 people or Gongsun He, they were all completely stunned. The 8 of them knew very well what Gongsun His powerful strike meant. Especially Gongsun He. Gongsun He was well aware of his strength. He had used his secret realm in that attack. Not to mention Longao, even a peak starry sky immortal expert wouldn't be able to withstand it. Once hit, death was certain. How did Longao withstand it? They couldn't figure it out. They really couldn't figure it out. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they wouldn't have believed that Longao could survive Gongsun His attack. Longao, how did you do it? The 9 people were almost certain that Longao wouldn't be able to do it under normal circumstances. If that was the case, the only explanation was that Longao must have a heaven-defying starry sky divine weapon. Otherwise, Longao would have gone to see the King of Hell. What kind of starry sky divine weapon was it? The more it was so, the more greedy the 9 people became. They didn't expect Longao to have so many heaven-defying starry sky divine weapons. Whether it was a starry sky divine weapon or a defensive starry sky divine weapon, it was something they yearned for even in their dreams. They couldn't wait to get all the starry sky divine weapons in Longao's hands. Longao was already very weak. If the 9 people continuously attacked him, then even if he had the protection of the primal chaos 9-colored lotus, there would only be one result in the end, and that was to be killed by the continuous attacks of the 9 people. This was without a doubt. However, he absolutely couldn't leave at this time. Otherwise, he would definitely be attacked by the 9 people. Longao was looking for an opportunity. The surrounding space had been sealed by the 9 half-step starry sky rulers. He couldn't step into the primal chaos palace at all. Although no one could stop him from entering the primal chaos palace under normal circumstances, there were special circumstances. For example, the 9 half-step starry sky rulers joined forces and used 9 secret realms. Longao didn't try because he knew that even if he tried, he wouldn't be able to step into the primal chaos palace under such circumstances. Instead of wasting time, why waste time? Seeing Longao not speaking, the 9 people had already guessed that although Longao didn't die immediately after taking a blow from Gongsun He must have suffered serious injuries. Moreover, the 9 of them had used 9 secret realms to seal this space. It was impossible for Longao to enter the starry sky divine weapon. Thinking of this, the 9 people became very excited and slowly approached Longao. The 9 of them still did not dare to make a move immediately. Because in the end, the 9 of them still did not have full confidence that they could hit the target with one strike. The 9 of them were very clear that if Longao ran away this time, the 9 of them could completely commit suicide. In the eyes of the 9 people, as long as they were careful, Longao would definitely die this time. Gongsun He said at this time, the winner is king and the loser is a bandit. Longao, since you lost, you should admit defeat. Chapter 25-22. He snorted coldly. With regards to Gongsun He, Longao really wished to tear him into pieces. He thought that Gongsun He was sincere in helping him, but he never thought that Gongsun He would sneak attack him from behind. Fortunately, he had the chaotic 9-colored lotus. Otherwise, he would have died without a doubt. Gongsun He, I'll pay you back double for what you did today. Do you think you'll have a future? Since things had come to this, Gongsun He's last trace of guilt was gone. The 9 of them found it a little funny. Things had already come to this. If Longao could still escape, they could also commit suicide. Longao was not only seriously injured, but also unable to step into the starry sky divine artifact because of their joint blockade. It could be said that Longao would die without a doubt. They didn't want to continue talking nonsense, so they had to end the battle quickly. The 9 people slowly approached Longao, getting closer and closer. At this moment, Longao's face was very solemn. Because he was seriously injured, he might not even be able to defeat them in a one-on-one fight, let alone one against 9. Kill. The 9 people rose at the same time and rushed toward Longao. It was a close call. At the moment of life and death. Just as Longao was preparing to take it head-on, 4 figures suddenly descended. One of them, a middle-aged man, struck out with his palm. In a situation where he was fighting against 9 people, the middle-aged man directly repelled all 9 of them. Whether it was the 9 half-step starry sky rulers or Longao, they were completely shocked when they saw the middle-aged man in front of them. In the entire vast starry sky, only the 12 starry sky rulers had such powerful strength. Was the middle-aged man a starry sky ruler? That was complete nonsense. If the middle-aged man was a starry sky ruler, he couldn't be a nobody. Especially when the 9 people didn't know that such a person existed in the vast starry sky. Who are you? Why are you interfering in our matter? The 9 people's faces were very gloomy, as ugly as they could be. The middle-aged man's strength was too strong. Even if the 9 of them joined forces, they might not be a match for him, let alone one-on-one. Yun Chen. Looking at Yun Chen among the 4, Longao was very surprised. It seemed that his guess was right. The force behind Yun Chen was really terrifying. The strength of the middle-aged man alone was enough to show disdain for the vast starry sky. Although he didn't want to admit it, the fact was in front of him. If there was no accident, the middle-aged man should be a ruler of the starry sky. As for whether the middle-aged man had grasped chaotic force, that was still unknown. Scram. Without wasting any time, the middle-aged man replied with a single word. If anyone else dared to do so, the 9 of them would have already made their move. What kind of joke was this? These 9 people were genuine half-step starry sky rulers. In the vast starry sky, apart from starry sky rulers, who would dare to provoke these 9 people like this? In the vast starry sky, strength reigned supreme. With strength, one could look down on everything. Without strength, One could only passively take a beating. Yun Lu's strength was placed there. The 9 people dared to be indignant but did not dare to speak. Because they did not know what kind of relationship the middle-aged man in front of them had with Longao. If the middle-aged man attacked, would the 9 of them be able to resist him? He was unwilling to accept this. He was really unwilling to accept this. This time, they had trapped Longao with great difficulty. As long as the 4 middle-aged men did not appear, Longao would undoubtedly die this time. If they left like this, it would not be so easy to find another opportunity in the future. Leave. Or stay. The 9 people looked at each other and saw deep helplessness and anger in each other's eyes. In the end, they had no choice but to leave. In the end, the 9 of them were afraid of the middle-aged man. They did not have full confidence that they could kill the middle-aged man. It was better to be safe than sorry. If the 9 of them could not kill the middle-aged man and were killed by him instead, the loss would outweigh the gain. As the 9 people left, Yun Lu turned around and said with a smile, "Longao, we finally meet. How should I address Senior?" Longao, of course, had already guessed that the middle-aged man in front of him must be related to Yun Chen. As for what kind of relationship, it was unknown. "You can call me Uncle Yun." Uncle Yun. Longao already knew that the so-called Uncle Yun in front of him was Yun Chen's father. As for Uncle Yun's name, Yun Chen had already told Longao through her spiritual sense. "Uncle Yun, thank you for saving me this time." Waving his hand, Yun Lu said carelessly, "You even gave up the wind and thunder chaos stele and gave it to Chen. Just this friendship alone is hard to come by. I should properly thank you." Everyone knew the value of the chaos stele. In the vast starry sky, the temptation of the starry sky was very great. Not to mention others, even the 12 people who had already become rulers of the starry sky would not easily give up upon encountering a chaos stele. Longao smiled and did not care about this matter. "Are you okay?" Yun Chen was very worried. She didn't know why her father didn't kill the 9 people. Others might not know her father's strength, but she was very clear. With her father's strength, it shouldn't be difficult for him to kill the 9 people. Even if the 9 people had the protection of the secret realm and could not be truly killed, with her father's strength, it would be a matter of minutes for him to suppress the 9 people. However, since her father did not say much, Yun Chen did not ask. As for the 9 people injuring Longao, she could not let it go so easily. Killing intent surged in Yun Chen's heart. As long as she had the chance, she would not hesitate to kill the 9 people. "I'm fine. I will recover after a little rest." Longao's injuries looked very serious, but in reality, it was not a big problem. With the protection of the Chaos 9-colored lotus, he could not die. Even so, Longao was still a little scared. If it were not for the Chaos 9-colored lotus, he would have been killed by Gong Sun He. Even so, Yun Chen was still very worried. Yun Lu smiled and said, "It's good that you are fine. Longao, we still have things to do. Later, I would like to invite you to my race as a guest. Would you be willing to come?" I couldn't ask for more. Longao was very curious about the race behind Yun Chen because Yun Lu was so strong. Just thinking about it, he knew how strong the race behind the 2 of them was. It could even surpass the peak of the human race. The 6 major races were the human race, the dragon race, the underworld race, the rat race, the slaughter race, and the mysterious race. Longao still could not think of which of the 6 races was so strong because none of the 6 races had a ruler of the starry sky. After all, the 12 rulers of the starry sky were not the peak of the human race. Chapter 25-23. After exchanging a few words, Yun Lu brought Yun Chen and left. Longao did not hesitate at all. After all, he was not sure if the 9 of them had left. Within the Chaos Palace, Longao finally heaved a sigh of relief. Thankfully, Yun Lu and Yun Chen had arrived in time. Otherwise, he might not have been able to leave this place alive. There was no anger. Longao was not angry at Gong Sun his sneak attack at all. If he wanted to blame someone, he could only blame himself. He had chosen to believe Gong Sun He He could not blame anyone else. If he did not take revenge, he would be a hypocrite. Longao clenched his fists tightly. After this ambush, his relationship with the 9 of them had reached a point where it was either you die or I die. It could be said that they were like fire and water. He did not leave the Chaos Palace. Sitting on the ground, Longao began to cultivate quietly. Speaking of his own strength, Longao was as depressed as he could be. After 200 years, his cultivation base had yet to break through from Star Sky Legend to Star Sky Immortal. If this was in the past, it would have been impossible. Based on his previous cultivation speed, he believed that he would be able to break through in 200 years. After devouring the mysterious energy of the Chaos Palace twice, he had improved tremendously. However, after so many years, the mysterious energy of the Chaos Palace had appeared a few times, but he had no way of devouring it. What was going on? If his cultivation base could reach Star Sky Immortal, even if he could not kill a half-step Star Sky ruler, he would not be in such a passive state. If his cultivation base could break through the limits of Star Sky Immortal, he would not have to fear even a half-step Star Sky ruler. The half-step Star Sky ruler had a secret ground to protect him. However, he had the Chaos Axe and the Chaos 9-colored Lotus. Longao's injuries were severe. However, with the protection of the Chaos 9-colored Lotus, no matter how severe the injuries were, it did not matter. For dozens of days, Longao did not leave the Chaos Palace at all. His injuries healed smoothly. At this moment, a terrifying mysterious energy was released from the Chaos Palace. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Longao was extremely excited when he sensed the mysterious energy that had suddenly been released from the Chaos Palace. The previous 2 times, he had made breakthroughs in his cultivation because he had devoured the mysterious energy. If he could continue devouring the mysterious force, he might be able to break through to the Starry Sky Immortal realm, or even the peak Starry Sky Immortal realm. Devour. Without the slightest hesitation, Longao immediately began to devour. But what was the result? Based on the results of the previous 2 times, as long as he could successfully devour the mysterious power, there was no doubt that he could smoothly break through to the Star Sky Legend realm. At the very least, he could reach the Star Sky Immortal realm, or even the peak Star Sky Immortal realm. He felt helpless. Longao let out a deep sigh. Originally, he was full of confidence that he could use the mysterious energy to make a breakthrough. However, he never expected that no matter how much he devoured the mysterious energy, he would still be unable to make a breakthrough. His body was like a bottomless pit that could never be filled. What was going on? Such a situation had never happened before. Could it be because? Seemingly thinking of something, Longao's expression suddenly changed. His physique was very special. He needed to devour a lot of energy to have a chance to make a breakthrough. Even the mysterious energy couldn't fill his body. It seemed that it would be difficult for him to successfully make a breakthrough this time. His expression turned ugly. The mysterious energy had only appeared for a few hours before it disappeared without a trace. Shaking his head helplessly, Longao didn't continue to dwell on it. Because he knew very well that his realm must be stuck at the Star Sky Legend realm. Who knew when he would be able to make a breakthrough? After confirming that there was no one outside, Longao left the Chaos Palace. Stretching his body, he felt that he had just walked through the gates of hell. It seemed that it was time for him to make a move. Longao had always been a vengeful person. This time, he was almost killed by 9 people. If he didn't take revenge, he would feel sorry for himself. This was the territory of the 3rd plane. Teleporting, Longao's figure disappeared without a trace. The 3rd Starry Sky Empire. Inside the Grand Hall, there were only 2 people in the hall. One was Gongsun He, and the other was Gongsun Ao. Now, the 2 were very depressed. They thought that they would succeed in killing Longao, but they never imagined that a mysterious expert would appear halfway and scare away 9 half-step Star Sky rulers. Ancestor, if I'm not mistaken, the person who forced you and the other 8 seniors to retreat should be a Star Sky ruler. Although he didn't want to admit it, the truth was in front of him. He had to believe it. It seems that as we guessed, there are more than 12 Chaos Stone tablets in the vast universe. The previous 12 Chaos Stone tablets are the best example. It seems that the universe is still very mysterious. We are just frogs at the bottom of a well. Gongsun Ao, of course, knew what the ancestor meant. He originally thought that there were only 12 star sky rulers in the vast universe. He didn't expect that there were other Chaos Stone tablets in addition to the 12 star sky rulers. He believed that even the 12 star sky rulers didn't know about this, let alone the 9 of them. However, it was reasonable when he thought about it. The universe was so vast and boundless that even they couldn't reach the end of it. If that was the case, no one would know how many secrets there were in the vast universe. To be able to repel 9 half-step star sky rulers in one move, there was no doubt that the other party was the so-called star sky ruler. Ancestor, we didn't succeed in killing Longao this time. If there are no accidents, Longao will definitely not let this matter rest. We certainly don't fear him in a head-on confrontation, but if he attacks us secretly, we will be in big trouble. Although Longao was only a Star Sky legend, he was able to kill Star Sky immortal experts. If he launched a sneak attack, no one in the entire empire could resist Longao's attack except for himself and the ancestor. If that happened, it would be too troublesome for the empire's foundation. They must get rid of Longao as soon as possible, but Longao had a heaven-defying Star Sky God tool. If they didn't succeed in killing Longao before, Gongsun Ao believed that Longao would be more careful. It would be many times more difficult to seize the opportunity in the future. How could Gongsun He not know about Gongsun Ao's worries? He also felt helpless in his heart, but he didn't have a good solution in this situation. Gongsun He, long time no see. How have you been? Chapter 25-24. Longao. Looking at the sudden appearance of this young man, be it Gongsun He or Gongsun Ao, both of them were completely flabbergasted. Even though both of them had guessed that Longao would definitely not let this matter rest and would definitely come forth, they had not expected him to arrive this quickly. Longao, what do you want? If they were to say that they were not wary, they would definitely be lying. If it were a head-on confrontation, they would definitely not be afraid. What they were afraid of was Longao's sneak attacks. If that were the case, things would really get troublesome. How could Longao not know about the worries in their hearts? He snorted coldly. Looking at both of them with contempt, he said coldly, Gongsun He, I will definitely settle everything with you in the future. The grudge between you and me will either end with you dead or I dead. Either you die or I die. Longao's attitude was clear. He would not rest until one of them was dead. I'll accompany you anytime. Now that things had come to this, Gongsun He did not think that there would be any way for this matter to be resolved. As a half-step ruler of the stars, other than the other 12 rulers of the stars, he did not seem to be afraid of anyone. Longao, other than sneak attacks and assassinations, do you dare to fight me head-on? Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Longao did not reply. Along with his laughter, his figure disappeared without a trace. Gongsun Ao's face was grim as he said sternly, Old Master, seems like Longao will definitely not let this matter rest. If we don't get rid of him as soon as possible, I'm afraid he will use all sorts of methods to deal with the people of our empire. Regarding this point, Gongsun He was extremely helpless as well. Longao's strength was definitely not as good as them, but Longao had a heaven-defying Starry Sky Divine tool in his hands. Even they couldn't lock onto this Starry Sky Divine tool, which was the most troublesome thing for them. It was also because of this that he did not do anything to stop Longao from appearing earlier on. He knew clearly that even if he did, he would not be able to hold Longao back. He would only be wasting time. He felt helpless. As a half-step Starry Sky ruler, he couldn't stop a puny Starry Sky legend. If news of this spread, no one would believe it. 9 half-step Starry Sky rulers working together failed to kill Longao. Gongsun He and Gongsun Ao didn't say anything. They just sat there helplessly. The reason why Longao didn't make a move was because he didn't have the slightest confidence that he could kill Gongsun He. If his cultivation base could break through to the Starry Sky Immortal Realm, he might have a chance to kill Gongsun He, but now, it seemed a little ridiculous. The third plane. Longao did not leave the Third Starry Sky Empire but stayed for the time being. There was no sneak attack. There was no assassination. Now, Longao was openly killing people. Unless he met Gongsun He or Gongsun Ao, no one in the entire Third Starry Sky Empire was a match for him. He could kill whoever he wanted. In just a few short hours. With Longao's powerful strength, he had killed tens of thousands of people, including Starry Sky Legends and Starry Sky Mighty. At this rate, the Third Starry Sky Empire would suffer heavy losses in just a few months. Gongsun He and Gongsun Ao weren't surprised by Longao's actions because they had almost guessed it. It would be strange if Longao chose to give up so easily. Even if they knew, they couldn't deal with it. Not to mention Longao's speed, just the Starry Sky Spirit artifact in Longao's possession made them unable to do anything. In the main hall, Gongsun Ao was very angry and said angrily, "Ancestor, Longao is obviously provoking our empire. If this continues, not only will our empire's strength suffer heavy losses, but it will also bring us endless negative effects." How could Gongsun He not know about Gongsun Ao's worries? He sighed deeply in his heart. Even when facing the other 8 half-step Starry Sky rulers, he didn't feel so powerless. Now that he was facing Longao, he couldn't do anything. It was a shame, a great shame. Tell everyone to avoid him if possible. Avoid him if possible. As one of the 9 great Starry Sky Empires, the Third Starry Sky Empire was the most powerful Starry Sky Empire in the vast Starry Sky, and it also had a half-step Starry Sky ruler. No one dared to provoke such a super strength. Longao was also a weirdo. He was fearless and didn't take Gongsun He and the Third Starry Sky Empire seriously at all. In the entire vast Starry Sky, apart from the 12 Starry Sky rulers, perhaps only Longao dared to do this. "Ancestor, are we really going to sit and wait for death?" Gongsun Ao couldn't figure out why the ancestor chose to sit and wait for death. If this continued, it wouldn't be a good idea for the empire. "I have already contacted the other 8 people. This time, Longao won't leave alive." Gongsun He knew very well that he couldn't trap Longao with his strength alone, let alone kill him. According to the current situation, only by joining forces with the other 8 half-step Starry Sky rulers could they successfully trap Longao. So that's how it was. Gongsun Ao was overjoyed. Of course, he knew what the ancestor meant. If the 9 half-step Starry Sky rulers joined forces, it would be more than enough to deal with a single Longao. Previously, they had almost killed Longao. If it weren't for Cheng Yaojin, Longao would have died by now. If there was a first time, then there would be a second time. If the 9 of them couldn't kill Longao, then in the entire vast Starry Sky, perhaps only the 12 Starry Sky rulers could kill Longao. Dozens of minutes later, the other 8 people all arrived smoothly. Bai Jing said straightforwardly, "Longao really doesn't know what's good for him. He already ran away before, but he still dares to stay here. It's simply a wallpaper. If we don't kill Longao this time, the 9 of us will really have lived in vain." That's right. No matter what happens this time, we must kill Longao. Killing Longao was a lie, but obtaining the treasures in Longao's hands was the real reason. After all, the defensive Starry Sky Divine Artifacts and spatial Starry Sky Divine Artifacts were heaven-defying Starry Sky Divine Artifacts. If the 9 of them could obtain these Starry Sky Divine Artifacts, it would be like adding wings to a tiger. In fact, the 9 of them knew very well that they could temporarily form an alliance for the sake of the same target, Longao. But what about the future? If they could kill Longao smoothly, then who would get the treasures in Longao's hands? This was a big problem because the 9 of them could be shameless for the sake of treasures. They could also fight and even kill each other for the sake of treasures. There was no doubt about this. The 9 of them had already thought of this, but they didn't say it out loud. Chapter 25-25. The 9 half-step sovereigns had arrived. The next thing they needed to do was lock onto Longao's position. They weren't afraid of Longao. If there was a first time, there would be a second, a third, a fourth, or even a fifth time. As long as Longao's cultivation base couldn't break through to the half-step sovereign realm, they could surround and kill Longao at any time. Taking 10,000 steps back. Even if Longao's cultivation base had broken through to the half-step sovereign realm, it was impossible for him to defeat the 9 of them alone. What the 9 of them were worried about was the mysterious person. The 9 of them were almost certain that the mysterious person who had interfered with them was the so-called sovereign of the starry sky. The gap between a half-step sovereign of the starry sky and a sovereign of the starry sky was enormous. It was like an insurmountable chasm. That was the key point. Even now, the 9 of them still didn't know what the relationship between the sovereign of the starry sky and Longao was. If their relationship was very good, the 9 of them would have been forcibly suppressed. So what was going on? The martial heaven continent. The outer sea. Within the crystal palace. Seeing the middle-aged man who had suddenly appeared in front of him, the master god diviner was shocked. He had never imagined that the person he could crush to death would become the sovereign of the starry sky. Yunlu, congratulations on becoming the sovereign of the starry sky. The master god diviner was very vexed. He had always been confident that no matter who it was, including Yunlu, no one would be able to become the sovereign of the starry sky. That was why he hadn't killed Yunlu back then. But the result? Now that things had come to this, it was too late to regret. The person who had just arrived was none other than Yun Qian's father, Yunlu. Just as Longao had guessed, Yun Qian's father was a true sovereign of the starry sky. However, just like the master god diviner, he hadn't grasped the primal chaos energy within the primal chaos tablet. Yunlu smiled. Before, he had been very afraid of the master god diviner because he knew that as long as the master god diviner wanted to, he could easily destroy him. But now that he had devoured the primal chaos tablet and refined it to become the sovereign of the starry sky, his status was the same as the master god diviners. If they wanted to determine who was better, they would have to control the primal chaos energy within the primal chaos stone tablets. It was easy to think about it, but it was extremely difficult to actually do it. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done it. After all these years, it was impossible for Master God Diviner's group of 12 to not have been able to acquire the primal chaos energy within the primal chaos stone tablets. One could imagine just how difficult it was to obtain the primal chaos force within the chaos stone tablet. I was just lucky. Was it really a fluke? Master God Diviner didn't believe Yunlu's nonsense, but he still said the same thing. Now that Yunlu had become the ruler of space, their statuses had become the same. Please have a seat. Thank you. Yunlu did not stand on ceremony and directly sat down. He had a gentle and refined smile on his face. Master Clairvoyant, I came here not only to tell you that I've become the ruler of stars, but also to join your ranks. Would you be willing to accept me? Regarding Yunlu's meaning, the divine mathematician naturally knew. Ha ha ha, no problem. I couldn't ask for more. Of course, he couldn't ask for more. The current Yunlu was no longer the same as before. Yunlu, what about your race? I know what to do. Don't worry about that. Master God Diviner smiled, stood up, and left with Yunlu. From beginning to end, Yi Dugu didn't say a word. He knew that Yunlu's status was different now. Even he had to treat him as an equal. Yunlu was also an old fox. He didn't tell Master God Diviner that his daughter had successfully devoured the primal chaos stone tablet. He knew very well what it meant for a race to have two rulers of the stars at the same time. If Master God Diviner couldn't tolerate them and joined forces with other rulers of the stars to deal with them and their race, then things would become very troublesome. Although they were wary of the mysterious expert, the 9 were still prepared to take the risk. They knew very well that if the mysterious ruler of the stars was willing to deal with them for Longao's sake, then they wouldn't have the slightest chance. Longao wasn't the least bit surprised that 9 half-step rulers of the stars had once again surrounded him. He had already guessed it. 1 against 9, he definitely wasn't their match. Longao had never thought of clashing head-on with the 9 of them. That was because the 9 of them could seal off the surrounding space. Even with his current strength, he could not step into the primal chaos palace. That was the greatest problem. Longao could come and go without a trace. With his valiant strength, apart from peak starry sky immortals and half-step rulers of the stars, Longao could ignore anyone. However, Longao wasn't going to play with the 9 of them. He couldn't fight them head-on anyway, and there wouldn't be any result. There was no point in staying. In that case, Longao didn't have the slightest intention of staying. He chose to leave. Until now, no one knew that Longao had left. The 9 half-step rulers of the stars were still searching everywhere for Longao's traces. In fact, the 9 of them were depressed to the extreme because they had already lost the best opportunity. It was almost impossible to find a second chance. The starry sky god tool in Longao's hands wasn't something they could lock onto. If they wanted to find Longao, they first had to lock onto the starry sky god tool in Longao's hands. The 9 of them had already thought that to seal the surrounding space and prevent Longao from stepping into the primal chaos palace, they would need the strength of at least 6 people. This was the most troublesome thing. In addition to Longao's spatial starry sky god tool, the 9 of them were also looking forward to obtaining the defensive starry sky god tool in Longao's hands. The fact that Longao could take a blow from Longao without dying was enough to show how terrifying the defensive starry sky god tool in Longao's hands was. If they could obtain it, they could completely suppress the other half-step starry sky rulers. Because of this, the 9 of them each had their own ulterior motives. They would definitely kill each other in the future. For the treasures in Longao's hands, the 9 of them would never give up. Among the 9 of them, Gongsun He and Bai Jing wanted to kill Longao the most. They knew very well that they couldn't give Longao any chance to develop. Otherwise, they believed that Longao would definitely not give up in the future. Cut the weeds and dig up the roots to prevent future troubles. They absolutely couldn't leave any trouble for themselves. Because of this, Bai Jing and Gongsun He couldn't choose to give up. As for the others, they wouldn't choose to give up for the sake of treasures. In this way, the 9 of them could lock onto more and more places, but they still couldn't find any trace of Longao. Chapter 25-26. As time slowly passed, the matter of the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin was no longer as lively as it had been in the beginning. Countless people had chosen to give up. Only the 10 dominators and 9 half-dominators hadn't chosen to give up. They were still searching for the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin, hoping to take it for themselves. But the result? The white-clothed girl seemed to have evaporated from the world. No one could find any trace of her. Soaring Dragon Empire. The Soaring Dragon Empire was now even more hidden. As long as no one leaked the location, no one would be able to lock onto the Soaring Dragon Empire. Longao directly returned to the Soaring Dragon Empire. The white-clothed girl didn't return this time. Longao sat at the top of the main hall with a helpless expression. He looked around gloomily. What's wrong? Seeing his grandfather walk in, Longao smiled and shook his head. I'm fine. Grandfather, how's your primal chaos tablet? Ever since Longao and the others had swallowed the primal chaos tablet, they had been in closed-door cultivation. If there wasn't anything important, they wouldn't casually appear. Exactly so. Longao was very curious. He didn't know why his grandfather had come out of closed-door cultivation. Could it be that his grandfather was looking for him for something? Longao helplessly shook his head. It's easier said than done to completely refine the primal chaos tablet. Fortunately, I've already started. I believe that with enough time, one day, I'll be able to completely refine the primal chaos tablet. His heart was instantly filled with joy. Longao was very clear that refining the primal chaos tablet wasn't an easy task. As long as he could refine it, it was fine. Without waiting for Longao to continue asking, Longao continued. This time, your grandfather has come out of closed-door cultivation mainly to tell you something. I've already heard about what happened to you. You have to be open-minded about everything. Don't beat around the bush. Understand? Yes, grandfather. I know what to do. Longao grew more and more curious. He didn't know why his grandfather had come out of closed-door cultivation. It seemed like nothing could beat refining the primal chaos tablet. After 200 years of closed-door cultivation, I've gradually discovered a problem. A problem regarding the primal chaos tablet. Grandfather, what problem? The primal chaos stone tablet Longao had obtained was one of the 12 primal chaos stone tablets, the divine spear primal chaos stone tablet. The primal chaos stele you gave me back then was the divine spear primal chaos stele. He nodded. He naturally knew about the primal chaos stone tablet he had given to his grandfather. After so many years of refining, I've gradually discovered that there seems to be a secret to the divine spear chaos stone tablet that I've refined. Longao didn't say anything. He just listened quietly. His intuition told him that the secret his grandfather had discovered was definitely not a small matter. Otherwise, his grandfather would definitely not be simple. He wanted to say something but hesitated. In the end, Longao still said helplessly, I don't know if I'm the only one who can sense this. As the time it takes for me to refine the tablet continues to increase, I've discovered that even if I can refine the tablet, I won't be able to obtain the primal chaos force within. So this was it. Longao smiled and said, Grandpa, it's not just you. I know that the 12 rulers of the stars, including Xiling, can't control the chaos power in the chaos tablets. If that's all, you don't have to worry about anything. But in the end, Longao didn't relax in the slightest. Instead, he grew even more serious. Longao was no fool. Seeing his grandfather's serious expression, the smile on his face instantly turned to one of curiosity. He didn't know what was going on with his grandfather. If that's the only problem, I wouldn't have come to find you. This was what Longao was most curious about, because he knew that his grandfather knew as well. It didn't seem to be a secret. Almost everyone knew about it. If it wasn't because of this, then what was it? Grandpa, what's going on? I think I know why we can't refine the chaos tablets, but can't control the chaos power within them. After hearing his grandfather's words, Longao was completely stunned. He knew very well what his grandfather meant. This was a secret that no one knew. Not even the Master God Diviner knew. Otherwise, the 12 rulers of the stars wouldn't have been unable to obtain the chaos power within the chaos tablets for so many years. How did his grandfather know? Unbelievable. This was truly unbelievable. Grandpa, what's going on? Longao was a little impatient. His grandfather and the others had successfully swallowed the chaos tablets. Even if they could become rulers of the stars, they couldn't completely suppress the Master God Diviner and the others. If they wanted to achieve absolute suppression, there was only one way. Not only did they have to refine the chaos tablets, they also had to control the chaos power within them. And the key was the chaos power. Longao, of course, knew what he meant. Seeing his grandson so impatient, he didn't care at all. He said, according to my senses, if I'm not mistaken, there are 2 reasons why we can refine the chaos tablets but can't control the chaos power within. Grandpa, please tell me. Here came the main point. Longao focused 120% and listened attentively. The first reason is that in this vast universe, there is no chaos power at all. This is similar to how our cultivation can continue to break through, and even reach the limit of starry sky immortality. It's because of the power of the stars in this vast universe. If we lose the power of the stars, think about what that means. Longao instantly understood what his grandfather meant. If he didn't think about it, he wouldn't have known. But when he thought about it, he was shocked. It was true. If the power of the stars in this vast universe disappeared, then all cultivators in the universe wouldn't be able to improve. They would be stuck in the same place, and might even regress. If that was the case, then it seemed that the reason why they couldn't control the chaos power within the chaos tablets was directly related to this reason. Then what about the second reason? The second reason is that we don't have an easy affinity with the chaos tablets. If there's a rejection, then don't talk about controlling the chaos power within the tablets. I'm afraid that after a long time, the tablets will devour us. Even if we don't die, we'll enter the cycle of reincarnation. Longao already understood what his grandfather meant. If that was the case, it would be almost impossible to grasp the primal chaos force within the primal chaos stone tablet, unless it was under special circumstances. Chapter 25-27. Grandfather, do you think the primal chaos tablet you devoured is suitable for you? If that was the case, then things would be very troublesome. However, there was still time to stop them from continuing to refine the tablet. After all, no one had truly refined the tablet yet. Longao shook his head gravely. You don't know this. We can't possibly know if it's suitable for us. If we could sense it, then Master Godly Mathematician and the others would have sensed it long ago. That was right. If that was the case, was he supposed to let his family continue to refine the tablet? What if something went wrong in the future? He didn't dare to gamble, nor could he gamble. What if he lost? As if he could guess what his grandson was thinking, Longao said, things have already come to this. We can only take one step at a time. That's why they have to continue refining the tablet. Worry would cause chaos. How could Longao not understand what his grandfather meant? Indeed, things had already come to this. Apart from taking one step at a time, there was nothing else to do. He was truly helpless to the extreme. According to his grandfather, unless primal chaos energy appeared in the vast cosmos, then a ruler of the stars would be able to control the primal chaos energy within the tablet. Otherwise, it was practically impossible. If that was the case, then how had Kang Lin obtained the primal chaos energy within the tablet? He couldn't understand, he really couldn't understand. Apart from this, Longao was also certain of one thing. Perhaps even Master Godly Mathematician wouldn't dare be certain of this. The reason was simple. Longao had always believed that even if he didn't devour or refine the tablet, as long as he could devour the primal chaos energy, he would still be able to surpass the ruler of the stars. This was a grave mistake, a mistake that was outrageous. To obtain the primal chaos energy, one had to use the tablet as a medium. Otherwise, everything would be nonsense. He sighed deeply. According to Yun Qian, countless years ago, there had been many rulers of the stars. He didn't know whether or not they had mastered the primal chaos energy. To say nothing of the others. Sage Wind Thunder alone seemed to have mastered the primal chaos energy. If that was the case, then there was only one explanation. In the countless years of the cosmos, not only did it contain the power of the stars, it also contained the power of primal chaos. As for why the chaotic energy had disappeared from the vast starry sky, no one knew. Grandfather, if that's the case, you should refine the chaos tablet first. As for what happens in the future, we can only wait and see. Yes, I think so too. Other than this, there was really no other way. After sending his grandfather off, Longao immediately found Xiling and told him everything that had happened between him and his grandfather. Longao didn't hide anything from Xiling. He was very calm. However, Xiling's heart was already in turmoil because the secret that Longao had revealed was too shocking. They had thought of countless possibilities, but not this one. Longao, if that's the case, then what you said is very true. Countless years ago, there must have been the power of primal chaos in the vast starry sky. That's why so many rulers of the starry sky were born. Xiling was curious, and he went on to say, but all the space dominators suddenly disappeared. There must be something going on. Longao had thought of this as well. Violet Spirit, I know what you mean. However, I believe that no one else knows about the tricks involved. This is also not our main focus right now. Violet Spirit, you must remember one thing. When you refine the primal chaos tablet, you must leave a way out. If there is any backlash in the future, you can still throw away the primal chaos tablet. Xiling knew the gravity of the situation. If he wasn't careful, he would be doomed eternally. I understand. As if thinking of something, Xiling sighed deeply and said helplessly, the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin were the key. It's a pity that the white-clothed girl left. Otherwise, We might have been able to discover the secret from countless years ago. Where had Kang Lin gone? Who was Kang Lin? Why had Kang Lin lost her mind? After all, with Kang Lin's strength, no one in the vast starry sky was her match. All of this was a mystery. Unless it was Kang Lin herself, no one could know this secret. Unless Kang Lin comes back on her own, otherwise, at this point, Longao did not continue speaking. Kang Lin came and went without a trace. No one could lock onto her location. It wasn't just him and Xiling. Everyone in the vast starry sky, especially the 10 universe rulers and 9 half-step universe rulers, were doing their best to find Kang Lin. Xiling also knew Longao's helplessness. In fact, Xiling didn't know why Kang Lin had left Longao for no reason. For 3 whole years, Kang Lin had never left. Others might not know this, but how could she not know? Because of this, Xiling couldn't figure it out. Longao, what do you plan to do next? Regarding the meaning of Purple Spirit's question, how could Longao not know? After some thought, Longao said, in addition to breaking through to the Starry Sky Immortal Realm as soon as possible, I have to help you Long deal with the Peak Dragon race. As for the Peak Starry Sky Immortals and the 9 Great Starry Sky Empires, Longao had thought about this before. In addition to helping you Long take back the Peak Dragon race that belonged to him, he also had to deal with the 9 Great Starry Sky Empires and Jufeng's group of 5. This was the key. If I can refine the Primal Chaos Tablet, I can help you deal with the Peak Dragon race. But now, don't worry, I can do it. If Xiling was at his peak, dealing with a Peak Dragon race wouldn't be a problem at all. After all, the Starry Sky Ruler was a super existence that stood at the top of the pyramid. But now, the situation was completely different. Xiling hadn't refined the Primal Chaos Tablet a second time and hadn't recovered his strength as a Starry Sky Ruler. It was almost impossible for him to help Zhu Donghuang. If Xiling acted rashly, not only would he not be able to help Zhu Donghuang, he might even harm Zhu Donghuang. As a friend, how could Zhu Donghuang not think about Xiling? How could Xiling not know what Longao was thinking? He was very touched, but he didn't say anything. If he couldn't help Longao, then he shouldn't be nosy. He didn't want to drag Longao down when the time came. The most important thing right now was to think of a way to refine the Primal Chaos Tablet and become a Starry Sky Ruler again. Just as Xiling was about to leave and turn around, he seemed to remember something. He suddenly turned back and said with a serious expression, I forgot to tell you something. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,